This episode of Unqualified is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. On the drive to and from my parents' house in Washington State, we almost always stop at two particular McDonald's, one in Salem, Oregon, and another in Eureka, California. At the moment, we are in the parking lot of the Salem location, and I just finished a Big Mac and fries. Even though we are just passing through, I appreciate the familiarity and feeling of community. The other day, I was looking through my mother-in-law's photo album and came across a photo where she and her friends are standing in front of a McDonald's wearing their cheerleading uniforms. I usually call my mother-in-law New Mom, but her name is Marcia. Under the photo, Marcia had written a note, and I talked her into letting me read it here. San Bernardino, California. I have so many memories of this McDonald's over the years. My father took me there on what I think was opening day. What a thrill it was as a young girl to order a chocolate shake, hamburger, and French fries. Then there was the time when my cousin Hinda and I were given a tour and allowed to take dill pickles by the cupful out of a huge barrel. We must have eaten 100 pickles each. Everyone in my family knows the story of how I accidentally missed the ketchup container and dipped a fry into my milkshake. Now when I dip fries in my shake, it's on purpose. I remember when I was 12 years old, my mother and my cousin Noel Novak, Larry's brother, picked me up from dance class and we went for dinner to celebrate Noel's graduation from high school. Years later, when I was in high school, we would go to McDonald's every Friday night after the football game. I wish you could see this photo. Marcia couldn't remember if they won the game that night, but everyone is smiling as if they did. Wherever your local McDonald's is, there's nothing better than that wonderful feeling of community. Well, maybe that feeling is tied with eating a Big Mac. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, you're an uncle.
I'm an uncle. I can't believe... Can you believe that?
Do you, congratulations. First of all, do you feel like additional responsibility suddenly in your life?
I have no idea. Maybe. My sister just had a baby about 3 hours ago or 4 hours ago. 6 pounds, 5 ounces, and his name is Thomas. And he's so cute. It's such a strange feeling being an uncle. I'm so excited.
You sent me a beautiful picture of both of them. I cannot believe that your sister looks, so gorgeous, and the baby just looks amazing. And I know Thomas came a little bit earlier than expected, but it sounds like everything is really good, right?
Everything's great. The baby's healthy. Everyone's excited. Saiba and Keith are doing well. Amy and I are actually going to head over there to the hospital right after we finish up here. So I'm so excited to meet my nephew.
That's awesome. Are you going to be like awkward baby holder?
Maybe. I'll have Amy take a picture and send it to you, and you can pretty much decide for yourself if I look awkward or not.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was awkward baby holder with my own child.
How long did it take you before you figured it out?
I don't think I have. I really don't. I don't know. I just never, I don't know.
Jack's a really big kid now. I mean, it would be awkward for anyone to hold him, I think, at this point.
Now I just drag him. He hangs onto my ankle, and I just, drag him to his bedroom by my foot. But, Sim, congratulations.
Thank you.
And are you recording this so
Yeah.
we can tell our listeners? Okay, good.
Absolutely. I'm recording all
Dear listeners,
this.
guess what? It's now Uncle Sim. So please address any emails you feel like sending us.
Oh, great.
Now it's Uncle Sim.
Why did you do that? I'm going to be Uncle Sim from now on. This is...
Obsessed.
Oh my God. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. All right. So let's just dive right in. So the response has been great. Thank you so much for listening to the compilation we made last week. It's been fun to listen to. Anna, have you ever listened to any of the older podcasts at 2x speed?
No. Like listening back, I have to be in a mood, like really particular mood, just like watching my show or watching anything any project I've been a part of, because I get so anxious listening to my own voice, seeing my face and the weird things that it does, and like, you know.
Well, listening to I had so many episodes to go through. So listening to them at 2 speed is an awesome experience. We sound like chipmunks, but you can hear everything. But you can finish an entire episode in about 20 minutes, which is great.
Sam, you shouldn't encourage people to do that.
You're right. No, that was just for me, for my research. Okay, you're right. Please listen to it at normal 1 speed. Thank you, Anna.
Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. It's so annoying.
It's okay. So do you want to dive right in?
Yeah,
okay.
Dive right in.
So the first clip we're about to play is May 17th, Chelsea Handler. So Chelsea was so candid and so captivating. Describe your excitement level when you knew she was going to be a guest.
I was really nervous because I had done her show a few times, and she was always kind to me, but also really, she's incredibly witty and she can be pretty biting at times. And so I was really flattered and excited when she agreed to do our show, but I also felt like, am I going to be equipped for this? Am I just going to be like, I had no idea, but she was just so surprisingly, I knew that she would obviously be candid because that's how she always is, but also really kind. And I hope she would be annoyed with me by describing her as surprisingly kind. but that was my impression. And she stayed and hung out afterwards, and I just really, I felt like I got a different version of her, like the guest host relationship, as opposed to her being the host guest relationship.
I know exactly what you mean. Just watching you two talk, it really seemed like you both are really close friends. It was a great conversation, and you both were extremely candid, I thought. You offered up a lot about yourself. In this clip that we're about to play, she talks intimately about a previous relationship, and it felt kind of like the story. It felt like kind of like a story that she would tell her close friends as opposed to the whole world. Did you ever get that feeling from her?
Well, I think on our podcast, that's been sort of one of the amazing things, is that it brings out that level of intimacy like we've talked about. But I also think that she, I don't know how frequently she gets interviewed. I'm sure she does a lot, but mostly, she spends her living interviewing. So I wonder if for her it's a different kind of therapeutic relief to be on the other end of the microphone, in the sense of of revealing yourself. And I was so appreciative of how hysterical she was, but also really honest and kind, and herself as well. She's also, she can totally be terrifying. She can. I mean, I've been at a couple of her parties where she's like, "Oh, so you're that mess." And
wow.
I'm like, yep.
She said that, but she said that jokingly, right?
I hope so.
All right. Well, let's listen in right now. From May 17th, here's Chelsea Handler.
Weirdest celebrity you masturbated to or had a sex dream about?
Okay. I don't masturbate ever. I wish I did. I think I have
either.
You know what my doctor told me the other day?
Yeah.
That I have very low testosterone levels. And I said, and she said, you can fix that. And I said, but what does testosterone affect? Is it just your sex drive? And she said, well, basically energy and sex drive. I said, well, my energy is fine. And I don't really want to deal with a high sex drive right now. I'm pretty fucking busy. If I was doing what I was doing and then going home and just fucking the shit out of people, then I'd really be tired. So I don't know that I want to take, she's like, it's a cream. I'm like, cream sounds like premenopausal. Like, I don't want to put a cream on my body. But, what was the question?
Do you masturbate?
Oh, no, I don't. No. But who have I had a celebrity? Oh, I have dreams about tons of people.
So masturbating to me, because my parents, even though they...
Do you have time to masturbate?
Well, I probably could. I mean, it could take, 3 minutes? 3 to 4, 5? Yeah. Like, what, 6?
I don't love the idea of masturbating because then you're sitting there by yourself.
I know.
And then
I feel lonely and guilty.
It's sad
after. I agree.
Yeah, it's like postcoital minus another person. I don't find that to be like a great situation.
I agree. Sim, can you help us with this?
I can only speak for men. It's completely different.
You need to masturbate. Men need to masturbate. It's totally different.
It's maintenance.
Women,
it's maintenance.
I'm just not. Yeah. I'm interested in fucking somebody when I'm into somebody. And I'm interested, like, when I'm not seeing somebody, the thought of sex doesn't even cross my mind. I don't ever go home and think, I'm going to go finger blast myself.
But do you ever get, like, built up hormones?
No.
And then you have, like, a sex dream?
Yeah, I'm sure I've had some, but I mean, not that I can recall. I'm sure if other people are having them, then I assume I have to. That's what I use as my basic Geiger. I'm like, if I think it, there must be 5,000 other girls that think this. But no, I've never masturbated to a celebrity I'm sure I've had a dream about a celebrity, but I've never masturbated and been like, oh my God, Vince Vaughn's so hot. I mean, I can't take that kind of stuff seriously. It's like, I also could never wear a negligee. Like, I could never be like, hey buddy.
I know. I agree with you. I have some trashy lingerie.
Do you wear it?
No, only when I'm kind of drunk or whatever. But I am playing a character. I'm like, okay, brace myself. I'm playing this weird girl who's comfortable wearing this shit.
Right.
And then I'm like, ta-da, honey.
Do you guys have a lot of sex, you and Chris?
I think we have an okay. Yeah, I think we do. I mean, we haven't spent a lot of time apart. So
when you see each other, you do want to have sex.
I think so, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it is nice.
What are you nodding at, Sim? Are you there when they're having sex?
I'm
He's
interested in the
yes,
conversation.
It's very healthy.
I think it's incredible.
A very robust sex life.
He's always
Who are you
recording.
having sex with, Sim? Is a better question.
I have a lovely, lovely girlfriend.
Oh, what's her
Yes,
name?
her name is Amy.
Oh, that's
Yes.
nice. She
She
sounds
is.
great.
And we just moved in
She's
together.
wonderful.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exciting.
It is exciting.
That is exciting.
Very stressful and exciting.
It's always those moments, I think, in life that are exciting, like the beginnings of things.
Have you ever lived with a guy?
Yeah.
How many times? How many men?
One man.
Okay.
Yeah. I lived with him for like 3-4 years.
Oh.
And by the end of it, I literally walked out the door and said, I will never see you. I will never walk back in this whatever house condo. I just, I didn't, it was.
love that.
Yeah. I just hated him by the time it was over. I hated him.
What did you hate? You don't have to go too much into it.
Of course, I'm happy to. He, in the beginning of the relationship, the very thing that attracts you ends up like kind of repulsing you by the end. And in the beginning of the relationship, he was the boss at E. He was like the head of the network, and I had a show on the network, and he was like kind of a mentor, and he like really adored me, and I was really into him. He was older. He was 20 years older. He knew everything about the business, and the fact that he was so kind of, I had never had a man like that in my life. Like, I've always liked older men. I've always been into older men. And as you get, like, now that I'm 40, I'm like, well, not that much older. Like, you can't have a 20-year age gap when you're 40. I'm like, okay, maybe 48 is my limit, not fucking 60. When I was 20, I could date a 40-year-old. When I was 30, I could date a 50-year-old, and then it's a wrap. So, and then he did this cute little thing where you would like eat potato chips and you would dip them in pico, like not pico de gallo, but like canned salsa. But potato chips,
Yummy.
Not yummy.
No.
It's not. They don't go together.
Yeah.
It's like potato chips and ranch, or tortilla chips and salsa. It's not
Right.
potato chips and salsa. So he would eat that shitty fucking canned salsa, and he would put them on his chips. And I remember like the last 6 months, because I really tried. We went to therapy, and I just outgrew him. That's all that happened. I fell in love with a man that was older than me because he loved me and was like fawning over me like a complete narcissist does. And then I grew up and realized I don't want somebody fawning over me. I want somebody who's going to fucking tell me the truth. And I outgrew him. And by the end of that relationship, every time he dipped a potato chip into that fucking salsa, I wanted to rip my vagina out of off of my body and throw it onto his face. I hated him. It was scathing. And I finally just got up one morning and we had gone to therapy with some fucking lunatic therapist that a friend of mine, some celebrity friend of mine recommended, who was out of her fucking, head. She didn't even have like lights on in the room because she had so much plastic surgery. And I was like, I can't even see her. Like, where is this woman? And she was just like a cat talking from like a sofa. And I remember waking up and I had secured an apartment right on Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica God. In one of those high rises. Wow. And I had just rented out the entire top floor because I was just about to go on a comedy tour, stand-up tour. I had a book coming out. My show had just started taking off and it was like really becoming popular. And I knew I just needed like the sound of the ocean and I needed to get away from him because he was just fucking suffocating me. And I secured it. It was like sleeping with the enemy. Like I had planned my escape. And then I got up one morning and he pushed my buttons too far and just said something like, "You're an ungrateful whatever." He said something really nasty and that he was going to cancel my show and I was going to be nothing without him. And I said, "I'm walking out this door and I will never walk back in this apartment again," or condo. We had bought a condo.
Damn.
And he said, "You'll never keep it." And I said, "I have more cash than you at this point. So you can fucking buy it from me, but you will never control me like that. Ever." And since then we've made up because, he was in a bad spot and he was losing me and I think he was desperate and said nasty things. But I just thought, you will never threaten me or control me at that moment. And I walked out and I never went back. And I felt like, you have those moments where you grow up in life. There's always like a little glimmer. Like that day I was like, I grew up today. And he scared the shit out of me. I thought maybe I'd lost everything. Like maybe he meant it. Maybe he was going to cancel my show. Maybe I was going to be nothing. And maybe my only success was because of him. And then I went on a book tour and I had a #1 New York Times best-selling book and I did stand up in 64 cities all while doing my show. And I thought,
yeah,
I'm fucking powerful. I'm fucking strong. And not to be like an egomaniac, but no one will define you. No one can ever take yourself away from you. And I had to get back to myself.
I love it that you had the plan, though, because I think that my theory, and I talk a lot about this. I don't like to gender stereotype, but I do think that a lot of times women are in relationships, and it's like, okay, if you don't change this, I gotta go. If you don't change this, I gotta go. If you don't change this, and then like that continues for like 3 years.
Women say that to men?
Yes, and then finally, when it's like, you didn't do it, I'm out of here. There's the shock factor for the man. Like, what?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but you didn't even give us a chance.
Right.
And it's like, no, dude.
How did you break up with your first husband? Can you talk?
Well, I can't talk probably too much about it, but I there were so many red flags that I just didn't, and I was immature. I was an idiot. I was like a small town girl from north of Seattle that was kind of blown away by the industry and moved in early on in a relationship when I shouldn't have, when like you move in.
Yeah. And
months.
You should not be there. You're like, everything I'm doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm being wrong.
Yeah.
In every way.
But and then, got married. But I did feel like the relationship, at least, okay, I'm checking that off the list. Like there is that pressure of like, okay, getting married means that I've accomplished that part and I can focus on my career. And that's how I felt. And anyway, it was we were just too young. And then I he was not happy. I
that you broke
happy.
up with him?
Oh no, I think he was not happy with me in general.
Oh.
I know I seem super charming and fun, but wait till you have me in bed, Chelsea.
Okay, so Anna, Paul Scheer is quickly establishing himself as a close friend of the podcast, and he's already contributed so much. In fact, he's the one that came up with Milo and Ventimiglia. So tell me about Paul, and when you guys talk on the podcast, talk about the dynamic between you and Paul.
Paul is not only Paul is brilliant on so many different levels, but one of the many reasons he's especially brilliant and a standout is because he is incredibly kind and friendly. And there aren't too many people that are as funny and quick and great at improv and willing to play games that are also not jaded.
Yes.
Paul is like, he's a love, you feel the love. Nothing comes from a place of bitterness or anger, which actually I think requires a lot more work than.
Do you think it's easier to be funnier if you're an angry person?
I think it's easier to be funnier if you're coming from a place of like bitter experience, because there's just easier targets. But when you're coming from a place like Paul, where it's truly coming out of just being really clever and kind and open and generous, that is rare and difficult, and that's why Paul will always go down as one of my most favorite. I have a gazillion favorite guests, but Paul is he's a special gem.
He definitely holds a spot on the Unqualified Hall of Fame, where we can retire his jersey if we were ever doing that. In this clip, we challenged him to perform, and he completely delivered. He was so funny. And I still go back on and I listen to his impression of Indiana Jones selling frozen taquitos at Costco. It's so, so, so funny. So here it is from May 24th, Paul Scheer. Here's some more. Right
What
here.
is this? What roles are we playing? Now, am I the executive?
We're having fun
I'm the
with
executive.
some improv.
Okay,
Should I
great.
read
What's
them?
your name? What's her name?
Okay.
Sam, tell me your name.
All right, no, we're going to give a couple of improv scenarios here.
Oh, gosh.
All right?
All right.
Why is he so loud?
We really had a thing going on.
I
here.
mean,
It's very,
The
that,
roofie's
I'm just
really
gonna
kicking
leave.
in, and he's loud.
really gonna.
Okay, so Hans Gruber on a Tinder date. Here's your Tinder date. Go.
Hello, girl. Very nice to meet you.
Hey.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
First of all, does this place take bearer bonds? I have a bunch of bearer bonds.
What?
I have a bunch of bearer bonds. Does this place take bearer bonds? I don't have cash or credit. I have a bunch of bearer bonds from the Nakatomi Plaza.
Is that like a Bitcoin?
Kind of a Bitcoin. Anyway, so you think you're a cowboy? You a cowboy? You like cowboy movies?
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
you're fucking creepy.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Second of all, you didn't bring cash or
I did. I
credit
brought
card?
bearer bonds.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I brought you also a gift, the FBI. The gift of the FBI. It's one of the gifts of the... It's like so inside baseball, fucking Die Hard references. If you've not seen Die Hard, you will not get any of this. Hans Gruber specifics.
That was excellent, though.
All right, let's go to the next one then. The next one is Hannibal Lecter working his first
Why
shift.
do I have to do all these impressions? I'm not like
Hey,
fucking
hey,
like
you got this.
Frank
You got this.
Caliendo over
Listen,
here.
We were gonna
Say this for the
we were gonna stop earlier, but you're so freaking good at this, so we're gonna keep going.
Okay.
Hannibal Lecter working his first shift at Chipotle.
Apologize to everyone at this for this next impression. Hi. What would you like to eat?
I just want like a burrito bowl.
Burrito bowl with a knife. These are
That was really good, though. That was valiant.
Okay, here we go. Batman auditioning for a commercial for erectile dysfunction.
all right. So you have to lead me into this. You're a casting director.
Yep,
then.
she's a casting director.
Okay, Barry.
Yes.
Hey, Barry.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Lindsay.
Hello, Lindsay. I'm really excited to be here. I really connect with the product.
Okay, so I know that you're
Yes.
auditioning as Batman for.
No, I am Batman. I'm Batman.
All right. So now the product is sort of an alternative to
Cialis.
It's an alternative to Cialis and Viagra.
Uh-huh.
It's called Spurgra.
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 Spurgra. Spurgra.
Spurgra.
Spurgra. And
Spurgra.
it's supposed to make men feel vital
Yes.
and young.
Yes.
And
Yes.
youthful.
Uh-huh.
So
Let's go at it. Just read the sides.
yes, please read the sides.
Listen, citizens of Gotham and elsewhere, Spurgra makes you hard as a rock and virile as a pony. I use it myself. No joking around.
Oh, what do you, I mean, I went all a little bit off book. I improvised a little bit. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I gotta say,
That was great. That was great.
you won the role.
No,
I won it?
You won it.
Thank you.
You are now going to get $2,500.
I have two more for you.
Two more.
That's it. Two more and we're done.
We're awful.
What, yes.
I'm just
edit
loving
out
this.
some of these bad ones.
You're doing
All
this
right.
for my enjoyment
All
right
right.
now at this point. Indiana Jones trying to get people to try his samples at Costco.
Oh, jeez, these are really hard.
Or
By the way, you're like the best improviser in the
And you
world.
don't have to
how
be
many
Indiana.
how many shows do you do at UCB?
I don't do a lot of impressions. I do about 2 shows a week at UCB.
But you
exactly.
Don't,
You're
you don't
the
have
best
to be
at
indie.
it.
You could
I
just
can be like Shia LaBeouf.
You could just be a dude,
All right.
like trying.
I know. I'll take the challenge. I'm going to
All
take
right,
it.
all right.
Look,
Do it.
I'm not. Look, it's a professional podcast. I'm not going to come in here and dick around. I'm not going to come here and say I can't deliver the goods. Not to Shim. Not to you. All right.
Shim.
Sim. Sorry. I don't know. I called you Shim. Sorry, Sim.
Okay, so I'm at Costco.
Yes.
I'm pushing on a giant cart.
All right. Sorry. Hold on one second.
Oh,
Indiana. Sorry. I'll
wait. What do you?
Indiana Jones trying
Which
to get
Indiana
people
Jones?
Indiana Jones
Last
from
Crusade?
Let's
Or
which
you wanna
one?
do
You
Temple of
pick.
the-
You pick.
Okay.
And also, what is your product? Do we need?
Well, do I have a product?
No, you decide what your product is.
Just give me a product.
Let's say nut butter.
Taquitos.
Nut butter. Oh, taquitos.
Frozen taquitos.
Frozen taquitos.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm doing old Indiana Jones. Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Try a taquito. I wrestled these. Mexicans made these. They're kind of like a burrito that's been fried.
Okay.
Terrible.
First of all, my name is Maria. I'm Mexican,
Maria.
and I don't know if Mexicans made these. Can we take a look at the
Mexicans made these. Mexican, have a. Just put one of these in your mouth.
box? I don't think so.
But I
Okay,
took
this is
Sankara
not-
stones.
this
I
is
took
not
Sankara stones out of a temple to put in a museum.
This is not
They
authentic.
burned through my bag. God damn it! Eat a taquito. If I put 3 of these taquitos in my bag, they'll burn through. That's how good they are. When I took these taquitos, I brought a bag of sand in. To take the taquitos, I had to justify how much they were, and I justified the sand, and I put it on a thing. I took the taquitos. Now give me all this free sand,
Okay.
please.
Now this is
Nazi taquitos.
the weirdest story I've
The
ever
Nazi
heard.
taquitos. Hitler made these taquitos. God damn it, eat these taquitos. Don't let the Nazis
Hitler?
win. Hitler.
Made
Taquitos. Come back here. Whoosh.
Our next guest, we're going to talk about James Gunn. What role has James Gunn had in your life?
So James is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and he became dear friends with Chris during the making of that movie, and in turn, I spent a bit of time with him, and there's so many things that I admire about James all around. Most of all, his integrity and his creative integrity. He fought a lot of battles with, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but and won in terms of his creative vision, but also his integrity as a person and a director, and keeping the mood and spirit high on a set where everyone's working really long hours, and doing sort of highly technical things that, even though you're making an incredibly creative, interesting project, you're not always feeling that way. I know this from making Scary Movie 2. He's a rare director, I think, in this day and age in terms of sticking to his vision and being also just an incredibly kind person. And also, he just adores Chris, but more importantly, he totally adores our son Jack, which is like I would bring Jack to set, and the movie would stop because James would have to cuddle with him and play with him and give him toys and hold his hand and walk him all around the new planet that they've landed on or whatever I'm not supposed to reveal.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so having James on was once again another coup. It's been such a great year of those kinds of experiences and learning so much from different kinds of people. And I love having actors because they endlessly fascinate me, but it's also a complete thrill to get people working in different realms of the industry. And James has such a great winning story of how he landed the job and of directing this hugely successful movie. And I love it that, especially, after, I think he went through a period where he didn't necessarily believe in the industry, but he believed in himself. And then he got to a point where he really believed that his vision was strong enough that the industry would see it. And I don't mean to keep referring to the industry as the industry because that's obnoxious, but I don't know what else to call it.
Well, I guess at this point, it's the entire world has recognized his genius, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is arguably the most anticipated movie of this year coming up. I know I can't wait to see it. And in this clip, he discusses why, during the casting of the original Guardians, he told everyone that Chris Pratt is the biggest movie star in the world. People just don't know it yet. Really cool conversation.
He was one of my most surprisingly enjoyable conversations because I loved how smart he is in terms of personal relationships, and insightful and interested. We've talked to people who maybe aren't quite as interested in the personal relationship aspect. Like we talk about industry stuff or work stuff, but maybe aren't quite as interested in in people's relationships or, people's experiences. But he was so game.
He was an open book. He talked about his sex life. He talked about his past. It was really, it's just an interesting, smart, brilliant man. So from June 14th, here's James Gunn.
Now, okay, and I promised Chris that I wouldn't talk too much about this, and I know you've talked a lot about this, but I can't help it. He's my husband. I'm super proud. And but in casting of him, because you cast him in The Game Changer for him.
Yeah, sure.
It's changed my life. It's it's had an incredible impact. And I know that he wasn't a likely choice at the time. He was pretty hefty and pretty unknown. But I love it that you clearly wanted somebody to play Peter Quill who had a sense of humor, and I love it that you gave him. There's that. I don't know how you feel about it, but there's that amazing. I don't know how you feel about it going viral, but there's that amazing audition piece between Chris,
him and Bautista.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's how he got the role, because it was. I saw Chris read. People know this story about how I didn't want to see Chris for the role. And
why was that?
I thought he was the chubby, funny guy from Parks and Rec. I didn't see it. And Sarah Finn, the casting director, kept pushing me until I saw him. And then I saw him, and I knew, and this is 100% true, within 20 seconds of him reading, I knew he was the guy.
Why? What was it?
Because, I was looking for somebody who was like Downey was with Tony Stark, basically. Somebody who could fulfill all the words I had on the page, but at the same time brought something extra outside of that to the role. Because just being this charming, funny guy wasn't enough.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Osea. Wondering what to gift your friends and family this holiday season? Female founded over 25 years ago by a mother and daughter team, Osea's award-winning cleansers, serums, face moisturizers, and body products give you the results you want. Skin that looks and feels amazing. I recently got to try Osea's new body butter, which, like their now famous Undaria algae body oil, transforms dry skin without being greasy, has the same incredible scent, and leaves your skin soft, smooth, and healthy looking. If my experience is any indication, you can count on your partner giving you a lot of compliments. This holiday season, stock up and share your new favorite clean skincare and body care with your friends and family. Unqualified listeners get 10% off your first order with promo code ANNA at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order, and orders over $50 get free shipping. Gifting is always easier if you start early, so head to OSEAMalibu.com. Use code ANNA. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by ZocDoc. Who gets excited about trying a new restaurant that has 2 out of 5 stars? When it comes to finding healthcare, don't ratings matter even more? ZocDoc is a free app where you can compare doctors, read reviews from real patients, and even make same-day appointments. When I finally called to reschedule my dentist appointment, I was told that my dentist had been retired for nearly 3 years. In my defense, parking was a nightmare. Through ZocDoc, I found a new dentist who had great reviews, took my insurance, and whose office was actually within walking distance. I was also able to book an appointment instantly without talking to a receptionist who made me feel guilty about not having my teeth cleaned for 3 years. My new dentist didn't make me feel guilty either, and only suggested I floss a little more often. Whether you need a primary care physician, dentist, dermatologist, psychiatrist, eye doctor, or other specialist, ZocDoc makes healthcare easy. Now is the time to prioritize your health. Go to ZocDoc.com/unqualified and download the ZocDoc app. Sign up for free and book a top-rated doctor who might be available as soon as today. That's ZocDoc.com/unqualified.
Enough, if that makes sense.
Well, and Chris is a natural hustler. And a lot of us,
He totally is. Yeah.
like he knows, he grew up, not very wealthy or anything. And he's had a ton of different jobs, and he knows how to, so he has like that impish, mischievous hustler quality that Peter has.
Yeah, I also think it was he has a natural vulnerability about him as an actor, which is what makes him a movie star for this time period. Because he does have a lot of classic movie star stuff. He does have a lot of Gary Cooper type stuff, but he has this vulnerability that is very different from those actors from the past. And that combined with the fallibility combined with the cockiness.
Yeah.
That's what made that character. And that's what was so different about him. But it was mostly, it was just his charm, and he fit into the right role at the right time. And I told people back then, like as soon as we started going, people would say, what about Chris Pratt? How did you cast, somebody who's not well known for this big role? And I said, Chris Pratt is the biggest movie star in the world. People just don't know it yet.
Right.
And I'm really proud of the fact that I saw that off the bat.
I got to tell you, I would do anything for you, James, because I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because I got to tell you, when I worked with him, we met doing a movie called Take Me Home Tonight in 2007. It was shelved for a long time, but when we were boyfriend and girlfriend in the movie, and sort of offset, I knew he was charming and popular, and
and you know, and like an affable guy or whatever. But I didn't really take him. I didn't really start to really see him until I started acting with him. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this guy is really fucking good. And it like sent goosebumps because, you know, I bring to the table when I do a role, a pretty strong point of view. So and it frustrates me because oftentimes you work with actors who aren't bringing a strong point of view, and they're like trying to find it in the moment, and it's like take 20 and you're like just like whatever. But and Chris brings it, you know, he brings a really strong point of view as well, and I just found that unbelievably sexy, just how good he was. And I don't know, it was really I saw a shift in myself, and I remember thinking like, oh no, he's got a huge future.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like just in the first movie, the biggest thing was just conversely and paradoxically getting Chris to stop entertaining. And if he could stop entertaining, all of a sudden, then he is the most rapturing that he could possibly be. That's what it was.
Well, James, I owe you a lot. Thank you so much for casting my husband. Okay, so I want to talk to you. A brief thing. This is something I've been thinking about. So I had a male. I won't go into too much detail about this, but I had a guy say to me, a frustrated actor, about 2001 after I got Scary Movie. He hadn't been working, and I was trying to sort of boost his ego or whatever, and he said something along the lines of, "But Anna, because you did Scary Movie, you have achieved some kind of immortality." And I thought, for the first thing, I was like, oh my God, I hope it's not a fucking Scary Movie. I mean, I love Scary Movie, but I just, I don't necessarily want to, like, whatever, that's my stamp on immortality. But I hadn't really thought about the idea of that kind of achievement I love material things and I love acting and everything, but I hadn't really thought about the idea of needing to make a stamp or I don't know. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because I know that it means it's sort of a question, and I had Sim write this down because I wanted to phrase it appropriately, where you might have to admit to some degree of vanity.
Yeah, sure. I have plenty of vanity. Don't worry. It's like I don't have to admit to some degree. It's been a huge driving force of much of my life.
But now that you have an artistic imprint that will last until the zombies kill us. Even then, they might really love Gunn.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't make any difference. It makes absolutely. I mean, sometimes I'm very competitive. First of all, like very competitive. So I really want to make the greatest possible movies I can make. And with Guardians Volume 2, I want to make the greatest spectacle film ever. Like that's what I'm committed to. But at the same time, it doesn't make any difference. It's all building sandcastles because eventually we're all gone. Whether we're gone or go somewhere else, we're gone. And, being immortal means what? Like, how long is humanity really going to last? It's not immortality. And the overall scheme of things, it seems like nothing to me. I don't know if that's like a weird way to look at life, but I
think it's a healthy way to look at life.
I'm so zen about it. It's really about, it's about the struggle. It's about doing what I feel like I was born to do. It's about really fulfilling what I think my, reason is for being on this planet. And it's about serving other people at the end of the day and touching other people and making other people's lives a little bit easier because of what we do. And that is what drives me at the core of it all. And then I have this other part of me that, like I said, is really competitive and always has been. And somehow those two things exist in me side by side, and they seem like they're opposing, but they're really not, because the competitive part of me helps serve other people.
Yeah. I think that's incredibly healthy because it's easy to get wrapped up in the vanity, and we talk a bit about this on the podcast, like the struggle with vanity especially in this industry, and especially as a woman, that for all different reasons and everything. But if you're looking
it's almost like if you're looking for the trophy from this industry, it will just continue to be, it will just always be elusive because you just have to figure, right? Like,
yeah, because what you do is, I mean, I think I learned it when I was young, and it was, because I've been making movies for 20 years. And so when I first like walked the red carpet, and I'm like, you know what? In practice, this is not fun. Like, this is just, it seems like it's such a great thing when you're a kid and you imagine yourself walking the red carpet and everybody's going to be looking at you and you're going to be so cool. But really, it's just completely sort of humiliating.
Oh,
and you feel like you're an animal. Oh. And then there's always the struggle for they're taking your picture, the person behind you, and the publicists are pushing you around. And the whole thing is just completely humbling and humiliating and not at all, it's not that exciting. And when you're looking at somebody who's famous or successful outside of yourself and you're seeing that thing, that's the thing you want to be when you're young and you want to be famous and you want to be successful and you want to be rich. You're seeing that thing that doesn't exist because it is by its very nature outside of yourself, if that makes sense.
Oh, completely.
So it's like it's a worthless thing to chase after. And that's what I always tell people, because people are always telling me, I want to be an actor, or I want to be a director. I want to be this thing. And I'm like, do you really?
Right.
Because it's really about, Anna going to set every day and waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sitting there and going through this stuff and not really feeling the glory that other people think you have.
Right.
And enjoying that process. And yes, getting paid for it, which is great. But enjoying that process enough that it's worth doing, and feeling enough fulfillment from doing that it's worth doing. And my dog is going through all your equipment right now.
I love it. No, I don't know why you would have ever seen pictures of me on a red carpet, but I get so uncomfortable that all I do is like unhinge my jaw and I just make the craziest faces because I'm so awkward. I don't know how to close my mouth and do like the side thing that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
With like the smoky eyes. So as a result, I have these crazy smoky eyes and I just look insane and people can see like my back molars and I'm just like, and I never know how to hold my body. I feel because like you said, it's like I haven't gotten that character down.
It's probably
that red carpet character.
I mean, how many people do you know that enjoy it? I can't think of anybody that enjoys doing the red carpet. I don't know. I know that there are people, because there are people that electively go to premieres that aren't their own. I know, but but they go because of the publicity they get. Right. But they don't go because they actually enjoy in the moment being on the carpet.
I think we just don't know these people, James, but I think they're out there and they may have a lot of reality television money.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's probably, you're right. There are people that don't have.
You know what I mean? Like,
they're so self-centered, they don't even have the awkwardness that comes with looking at yourself enough to say, this is so stupid. And yeah. Because
I'm with you, Chris and I struggle a lot. And it's embarrassing almost to admit it because it sounds very arrogant. But I struggle a lot with the publicity side of this industry.
Side. It's a thing you think when I was a kid. It's a thing I imagine. Doing the press junkets and this, and it ends up being the price you pay for everything else. And the movie coming out is the price you pay for doing the movie. Yeah. Because the part that's the best is the creation of it. Yeah. And the rest of it you just have to let go. I mean, it does feel good when people like what you do and you get a note from a kid that says, my life changed because of seeing, your film. I mean, that makes a great deal of difference to me. But primarily it's about having to be in the moment and creating that project, and the creation of it is the thing that has to turn you on. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. And that's why people who want to be actors or who want to be directors, they need to go out there and act and direct and make sure they really like doing it and can handle the rejection, which is huge.
This is such a sidebar, and Sim might get annoyed with me.
No, of course not.
We were talking about with an actress in an earlier podcast about this whole "Ask Her More" #Ask Her More concept. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yes, it's about asking her more than what she wears.
Right, which to me is like, it just feels so stupid. It's like, That's what we're like. Those are like the 20 seconds that you spend with each journalist that you just have to get it over with. You just have to do it. And if you can just tell somebody what you're wearing, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, can't we, I don't know. I like the intention.
You like ask me less.
Ask me less. But I mean, I love the intention behind it. The intention is pure. But but it doesn't really have the movement feels
it doesn't
so
have the
weak.
performers themselves in mind, because it just makes things more difficult for this process we already dislike doing. Yeah,
and it's like it's not acknowledging, I guess, to sort of the frivolousness
of the entire
of the whole thing
extravaganza. Yeah.
Okay, Anna, so the next clip, we are going to listen to a clip from Keegan-Michael Key, and I can probably listen to this episode just on repeat over and over again. I never get sick of it. He's that engaging. He's that hilarious. What was your takeaway from Keegan?
Keegan was so incredible because, once again, it was one of the first times I think that we started really exploring the improv world in our podcasting, and like we had done like little stuff before, and we were starting. We always knew that there would be a learning curve, and we always knew that that we were going to try to like find who we are, and we still are, and I hope that we always continue to do so. But that was definitely one of the first ones where we really started to, I felt like, open up, between Paul and Keegan and Jason and Zukas, like our improv.
We're talking about three of the best in the world. Yeah, they're unbelievable.
And that to me was so much fun. He had no idea that what we were about to do, in terms of me playing the horrible Karen Sarducci, pitching him like the worst
Rosemary's Talking Baby is still probably my all-time favorite. It's
I still love Titanic.
Titanic 2, Let's Get High.
But the fact that he went into the whole, like before I even pitched anything, he went into it with saying, "Can I just say, I love the What Was series." And
yes,
instantly I felt like, oh my God, game on. And it's so fun. And am I out of my league? I don't know.
You were not out of your league. It was so much fun to watch you two perform. And you've been getting better and better, Anna. I'm so proud of you, and the fact that you're not only holding your own to some of the best improvisers in the world, but you are so ridiculously funny, and you have me cracking up sitting right next to you all the time.
Sim, you know what? The best thing about, even when I tell you to like fuck off, you still say really nice things like that. And the truth is, though, I know that you must at some point be going a little bit crazy when I go on and on with a character. But anyway, we can talk about that later. I am thrilled. Keegan is a total gem, and I think I would be, I don't know, it would be like the best birthday gift ever if he came back on the podcast.
So interestingly enough, Amy and I ran into Keegan at the Passengers premiere after party. You weren't there, but Keegan was there, and he gave us a huge hug.
Way to name drop.
I'm just telling you that he told us that he had a blast and he really wants to come back. You said that you wanted him back, and I'm telling you right now that he wants to come back. So let's bring him back.
I love that idea. I love that. Because it was like a semi-decent tennis player playing with somebody really good, and just like volleying for a little bit. And if and when he does come back, I want to have some great stuff prepared that will take him by surprise.
Oh,
so
it's going to be so much fun. Until that happens, let's hear Keegan-Michael Key from June 21st.
My name is Karen. I am the studio head of Imaginarian Studios.
Imaginarian. Okay.
Yes.
Imaginarian Studios.
You're coming in as yourself, Keegan. And I am going to. I own the rights to some big name movies.
Copy that.
So we're trying to make some sequels.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to bring you in, and Donovan will bring you in.
I'm Karen's assistant, Donovan.
Hi, Donovan. Nice to meet
Okay,
you.
Donovan,
meet you, too.
I already fucking said that, all right? So you don't fucking...
And Donovan, I appreciate the water.
Yeah, okay. You don't need to
Would you
talk
like
to
some
Donovan
water?
anymore.
I don't need any more water. You literally gave me
Donovan,
a
shut the fuck
2-liter
Okay.
of Evian. So
He
thanks,
always
Donovan. I appreciate it.
It's always...
Is it just-
He always talks
You're
so
dismissed,
much.
Donovan.
I mean, I don't even think he's... I don't even know how he fucking graduated fucking kindergarten.
Should I bring him in?
Are you talking again, Donovan?
Sorry.
Okay. Yes, please bring in Keegan.
Keegan, Karen is ready to see you now.
Karen, nice to meet you.
Hi.
And is it Sarducci or Sarducci?
Sarducci.
Karen Sarducci.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Oh my
Pleasure.
gosh, it's so nice to meet you. I have been a big fan of yours
Oh, gosh,
for
thank
so
you.
long. And I have to tell you, my kids, Milo and Ventimiglia, just love you so much. And they really have their finger on the pulse of Hollywood.
Sure.
So when we were recently in Zihuatanejo, and they were saying how much they loved you. And so I started watching a lot of your work, and you are brilliant.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you, first of all, I love you as a movie star.
Oh, great.
I
Thanks.
also love you as a writer. I love how you deal with racial relations. I mean, it's clearly a subject that needs to be talked about, and you do it with such humor.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. I want to let you know that I'm a big fan of the what series.
Oh, thank you.
I like what the third one, and I also think what was really a nice touch is that in what 3, I love how after the first what you put the question mark,
Yeah.
and after the second what you put a question mark, but then after the third what you put 3 question marks,
We
which you
always-
didn't do with the first 2 movies, which I thought was amazing just for the one sheet alone.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
You know, thank you so much for saying that, because punctuation has always been an odd element in a movie title. It's a risk, you know, it's like, what's eating Gilbert, but like,
What's eating Gilbert
right,
Grape?
like, do
Yeah.
people want to see a question mark movie? Turns out they do.
Yeah, or at the very least 3 of them.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
But at any rate, yes, I
You're
just wanted to make
clearly
sure I said
thoughtful.
that, because I thought if I ever meet Karen Sarducci, I've got to mention the what series.
Thank you. Well, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
See you as the next Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, wow.
Tom Cruise. You are just America's leading man.
Oh, Karen, I'm taken aback in the most positive possible
now
way.
we're going to move on. So what I want to say is, now my kids came up with 3 movie titles.
I'm sorry, what now?
My kids. So as you know, so we
I have seen Ventimiglia in the news, but I don't know how old is Milo?
Milo's 14.
14, gotcha.
Yes.
And Ventimiglia is 16, correct?
Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
yeah.
And I saw the whole thing in the spread, and there was the thing in the THR about
yes,
his
that's
Sweet
not-
16
yeah,
birthday.
not you.
I'm sorry, I'm
No,
gushing
no.
now. I apologize, Karen.
Slightly disappointed that you believe in tabloids, but we'll move on. Okay, so now we own the titles to these movies, so we want to capitalize on their sequels.
Sure.
So I would love it if I just heard your initial thoughts.
Copy that.
Number 1, The Joy Luck Club 2, Not Quite as Lucky.
Gotcha. Not quite as lucky.
Now you're the star.
Sure. Yep. I can play Asian. I can do that. I'm just thinking, my first thought is maybe now it's an organization more than it is a club. We can go there, and then there's more people in it.
Do you mean like a mobster organization? Or?
No, not like the mob per se. Just a larger club where more people can't feel as lucky, because there's luck in small numbers.
So
And
it's
there's
like the
none.
pessimist
It's
club.
the pessimist club, right? Yeah, I think, and what happens is the Joy Luck Club turns into the pessimism club, and then by the time we get around to the third act, we're trying to pull it right back to where it was to begin with.
Is there hope at the end? or-
Absolutely, there's hope. In fact, we're going to change it to the Joy Hope Club, and that's what they're going to change it. There's going to be a banner at the end, and that's what they're going to change the name of the thing. And
Like
then
a birthday party banner?
Yeah, and then we'll do some traditional Chinese dancing. Yeah.
Do you know how to
Me?
traditionally?
Oh,
Chinese-
yeah. I am an expert in chantois, yeah.
Okay.
Chantois, yeah, style.
All
yeah.
right. Well, I like where this has started.
I just feel like a lot of set pieces. Maybe it's Chinese, but it has a Bollywood feel. I'm just thinking we might do a couple of set pieces here, there, and perhaps everywhere.
You're a wonderful dancer. And Milo says you can sing.
I can sing as well. Sometimes a person sings a song in his heart.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the next one is Rosemary's Talking Baby.
Mm-hmm, the Talking Baby.
Yes. Now I've already signed a deal with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen to be the Talking Baby. But here's the thing. This movie takes place in 2043. A time where man can actually have a baby. So you are the lead.
I'm playing the Mia Farrow role.
Yes.
I see.
You have had a uterus inserted into your body.
Yep.
Because you're a generous man. You don't want to, your wife or your partner, whomever, a gay man, whatever, however you decide to go with this.
I'm with it.
You want to experience the idea of childbirth.
Right.
So you are giving birth to Rosemary's Talking Baby.
Mm-hmm. So now in this case, I'm Rosemary, and I get it, but maybe we'll just call me Rosemariano, and I'll be a Hispanic guy who wants the uterus inside of him, right? Do you like it so far? Like he's this. We can play an ethnic. I just think that demographically speaking, to have a guy like this in this particular kind of way.
I like this market for sure.
Okay, and then what happens is he same thing happens like from the original, right? So at one point in time, he starts to find out, he goes to see the priest, and he finds out that there are two babies inside of him.
Two
bebés. And what happens is he realizes one baby is the devil baby, and the other baby is regular baby. And then the majority of the film, what happened? He go to the doctor. He go to the doctor, and the majority of the film, take place to the ultrasound machine, and there is a battle between good and evil inside of his home, and then we can decide later. We can decide later as we go forward if we want the good baby to win. If the bad baby wins, there could be a Rosemary's 3. That's my initial thoughts.
I like it that you're kind-hearted, potentially that you want both of them to.
I love it. Then outside, you cut outside of the ultrasound machine every now and again, and there is Luis, and he's ambivalent to say the least, because he wants both of the babies to live. The evil baby is still my baby. Something like that. So we can really tug at the heartstrings.
Thanks,
Karen.
I knew that you were brilliant. Okay, the third and final movie that we also own the rights to is Titanic. So our third movie is already called, we already have the title, Titanic 2, Let's Get High.
So this is what happens. Because of the tragedy of the early 1900s and the Titanic sinking, both, well, if I may, I don't want to leave anybody out, both the Titanic and the Lusitania. What has happened is Boeing Industries has made Titanic the plane. Now, what's the subtitle again? I just want to make sure.
Let's Get High.
Let's Get High, correct. So they've made a plane.
Milo loves to smoke weed.
He does. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the plane is the size of the original Titanic boat, okay? And what happens is we're going to go.
It's an indestructible plane.
It's an indestructible plane. It cannot be destroyed in any way, shape, or form. In fact, they do test runs on prototypes of the Titanic plane. This thing is just bouncing off of mountains. No big deal. And still makes it to its destination. It's like an AC-3 Airbus times 4. They don't even know how they got this thing in the air. We're talking Howard Hughes Grey Goose times 6. Schwacks. Okay, that's just a little piece of slang that I've made up. So they're in the air, and then what happens is they're not aware of the fact there's a phenomenon, a barometric phenomenon that takes place that only happens once every 2,000 years, and it creates an iceberg that floats in the air. Because little do we know, clouds do weigh tons and tons and tons. But there's a lot. What happens is there's a cold front that meets a colder front over Antarctica, and this particular trip, the plane is going to go over the top of the globe. They think we're good to go here, no big deal, and then bleep, bleep. And the guys, and then you have Jack, right? Jack, but now he's not just a peddler. It's me, right? Huge weed
Now you're in
dealer.
like the lower.
I'm in steerage.
Yeah,
okay.
you might even be in like where the baggage.
I could actually, yes. There's like 6 guys that stowed away in baggage, but baggage. This is how huge. This is how Titanic the Titanic is. Baggage is the size of 3 767s. Just baggage. They've got giraffes down there. Just like crazy live produce. I'm selling weed to the other 6 guys. Some people are coming down from middle class, not first class. They're coming down to buy weed. Nobody's
Maybe do
monitoring
an
the plane.
Irish jig, though.
I can absolutely do that if you'd like that. I can play Irish, black Irish, and then what I'll do is I'll sell the marijuana, right? And I make my way up, and I meet a young lady. She comes down to get high. Perhaps it's played, Karen, by someone I don't know. I really enjoy the actress Anna Faris. Perhaps she plays the role, right?
Okay, but she's not big enough. But
Copy
we
that.
do have we have an amazing deal with Reese Witherspoon, and I just want to ask you, just between you and I,
Sure.
Is blackface still offensive? Because
Here's the thing.
I'm
Easy.
wondering. I don't know. I mean, I know she wants to explore her horizons. She wants
Reese
to.
does.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just wondering, just on a personal note, side note, is it? I don't know. Is it still a thing?
Yeah, it's still pretty goddamn horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
That's disappointing news.
And I'll be honest, I'm a whore. It's disappointing for me as well. I wish we could do it. I would just slap some mahogany all over Reese's face. Get the cork and light that stuff up and I get it all over there.
Good to know. Good to know.
Now we could make some changes scripturally if you wanted to. Scripturally, biblically, textually.
So
Take your
she
pick.
comes down from first
She
class.
comes out from first class.
We'll figure out her skin color later.
We can do it later. Let's for the sake of argument, let's say it's perfectly okay for her to be completely racist, like brutally racist. And so she comes down to Stewart and she's like, "Yo, man, what's up? Penelope," and she's got like a Dolomite strut, and then she bumps into the Irishman, and he's like, "How you doing there? What do you like?" And she's like, "Let me get a little bit of that reefer, baby," and then she calls him "baby." Baby. And then what happens is they go to the front of the plane.
And you paint her breasts.
Yes.
Well.
Whoa, what's happening? I paint her breasts. Yeah.
Well,
no, I love it, Karen. Yes, and I use pastels mostly, but she does black tit
You're in
and
the
black
pilot.
face.
Well, I love it. I love it so far. I mean, I think it's brilliant. I mean,
Thus far, if I may, Miss Sarducci, which project seems to be resonating with you the most?
well, honestly, I love all 3. And according to my children, you truly are like the next Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio,
All the
Marlon
good Italian
Brando.
ones. All the good Italian actors. I'm more than willing to change my name to Keegan Michael Keegan. Keegan Michael Keegan. Miguel Keegan. Listen.
The next clip we're about to play.
Wait, Sim.
Yes.
And don't edit this part out.
Go ahead.
Dear listeners, see, this is the behind-the-scenes stuff when Sim is annoyed with me.
I'm not annoyed with you. I just, you know what? It's harder to do this on the phone. If I'm looking at you, it'd be different. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I have a little more control with you on the phone as opposed to sitting next to me right now.
Well, no. I'm hoping the purpose of, and I think that you agree, I just need this to be reiterated, is that I'm hoping that the purpose of all of doing all these recaps of like our favorite pieces and clips and people and everything is that hopefully, our listeners will, get a sense of sort of who we are and the like idiotic nonsense that I'm spewing out of my mouth. But do you think that it's going to work? Don't edit this out.
I don't know if this particular section is going to work right now. We'll see, because you told me not to edit it out. but we'll see.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving all of this in, I promise. But can we move on with the show, please?
Yeah, fine. But just tell me that, yes, it's going to be good on it. It's going to be fine. It's all going to work. More people are going to listen.
You know what? It worked the first time. The episode we have right now worked. Volume 1 worked. People are enjoying the episode. And it introduced All right, fine. You know what? You don't believe me. You never believe me.
No, I do. I just sometimes I hate myself for needing reassurance.
I'm telling you right now, it's working. I promise you it's working. Okay? So let's keep going.
All right.
Patty Stenger. Talk to me about Patty.
I've been a big fan of Patty because of Millionaire Matchmaker for a long time, and also just so fascinated with that world of how do people kind of not she would, I think, be very opposed to the term like gold digging and everything, because I know that she really is sort of about making love connections. But I am fascinated living in Los Angeles in sort of a world where it feels like there's lots of, we're all out for ourselves in one way or the other. I'm trying to get acting. You know what I mean? Like people come here to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And some people come here to be an entrepreneur in terms of finding a wealthy partner. And so that element really fascinates me. I was thrilled. I find her, even through her sort of her straight talk, incredibly charming.
Yes.
So I was really thrilled to have her, come to the house and be on her show, and she gave me beautiful jewelry, and
she also gave you wine. She has a winery or a vineyard or a label or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
She's got the whole thing going. And I mean, she completely dominated the episode, which was
hysterical.
Fucking awesome.
I mean, the episode was a little nuts. Let's be honest. It was crazy. And I'm not just saying that because do you remember when she grilled me about my plans to propose to Amy? I thought that was hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
And she wouldn't let it go. She brought it up twice during the episode.
And could you imagine giving her advice? That would be really hard.
It's impossible. You wouldn't be able to do it. She wouldn't listen to you. She would take your advice and tell you why you're wrong. And
totally.
And what was interesting,
and she's probably right, is the sad thing.
Yeah,
you know what? And that's a sad thing, but
she does carry herself with a lot of confidence. That's something that I noticed, and it's very impressive. And you know this, Anna, we get a lot of emails on Unqualified.com asking us why they can't attract anyone. And the clip that I'm about to play is Patty definitely speaks her mind to that caller.
She was a little, and I totally admire her for this, a little more forceful with her advice than I would ever be, because I brand myself as being completely unqualified, and I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
I mean, there definitely.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Warby Parker. Warby Parker was founded with a rebellious spirit and the lofty goal of creating boutique quality eyewear at a revolutionary price point. Sunglasses, with or without a prescription, start at $95 and, just like eyeglasses, are available through their home try-on program. You just choose 5 pairs and see which ones you like. I was surprised by how quickly they arrived, which presented me with the immediate problem of deciding which ones to keep. I loved all of them, so you can guess what happened. And not only can you feel good about how cool you look, you can also feel good knowing that for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need through partnerships with nonprofits like Vision Spring. Offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams, Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores. So put your FSA or HSA dollars to good use on Warby Parker prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. Ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/unqualified. That's warbyparker.com/unqualified. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by State Farm. And in honor of their surprisingly great auto insurance rates, I'm going to tell you about a particularly surprising day on set. It takes me a long time to read a script. For almost every line of dialogue, I will stop to figure out why my character would say it, how it fits in the conversation, and how it's going to come out of my mouth. Between the lines, there are larger chunks of text which describe everything else happening in the scene. Maybe what a room looks like, what characters are wearing, and what they're doing. As I often underestimate how long everything in my life takes, I know I can make up some time by reading those larger chunks a little faster. I got the script for Overboard about 6 months before we started production. I read it in my warm living room, wearing comfortably warm clothes, sipping from a warm mug of tea. Somehow, it never occurred to me that when you jump off a boat in the middle of the ocean, the water is surprisingly cold. And it doesn't get any warmer on take 2. Here at Unqualified, we love State Farm because they provide coverage that meets your needs at a surprisingly great rate. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
It was a little bit of good cop, bad cop going, but I don't think that Patty came from a malicious place. She really,
not at all, no.
In fact,
No,
I also
just-
warned the caller. I said, "Look, listen. This is you. Are you sure you want to get into this? Because Patty is going to just completely just go at it." And I think her name was Ashley. Ashley said, "Yeah, bring it on."
Do you think that Patty is alone with Chris?
Right now?
She've tried. Yeah, if they were because I'm upstairs, if they were downstairs alone, do you think that Patty would try to be coming on to Chris?
Well, she did say during the episode that Chris is her dream man. You heard that? You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think you can trust Patty and Chris alone in a room together?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
But even if I went downstairs and I found something crazy going on, I think I'm at the point in my life where I'd be like, well, fuck it.
With that, here's Patty Stanger from August 9th. We're calling Ashley right now. She's in New York. She's 31. She works in tech. She's looking for a guy that's nerdy and funny and sweet, humble, brilliant, quirky, and stable. Looking for everything, by the way. She's looking for the total package. Hey,
hello?
Ashley, it's Sim. How are you?
Good. How are
Anna
you?
is here.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
And so is Patty Stanger.
Hey.
Hey.
So Ashley, you want true love, but all the men you're attracted to seem unavailable. Let's try and understand you more so Patty can accurately assess your situation and give you the best advice. So Patty, please take it away.
Why do you say they're unavailable? What's the reason? What are they giving you as a reason?
Okay. I keep falling into the same kinds of scenarios where I have a very particular type, and then I meet these wonderful men that I think are totally the thing, or they're pursuing me. And I'll either find out pretty soon, maybe within a couple of months or so, that they're just kind of at capacity emotionally. They can't go further. They don't really want anything serious.
How many have you had in a
Even
row?
though
How many have you had in a row?
So I was in a couple of very long-term relationships since I was in high school, essentially. One was several years, one was 3.
But those
so
were
the
all
last
the emotionally.
couple-
But wait, they were all the emotionally unavailable guys?
No, they were awesome. They were wonderful.
Okay,
But
so
after
we're
that,
talking about the ones that are emotionally unavailable. So how many have you had in a row?
right. So I would say for the last 2 years, every guy I've met
Is
was
that every
either,
2 months? Six of them? 7 of them? How many?
I would say men that I've several.
How angry do you get about this experience?
I'm friends with them, so I don't really get angry at all.
Okay, well, there's your mistake right there and there. There's your mistake right in there. So there's a problem you're having where you're trying to take them out of the friend zone into the romance zone. And technically speaking, if a problem keeps showing up, the universe is saying to you, what are you here to learn? So you need to stop making friends with them. If they're not willing to give you an emotional commitment at your level, water seeks its own level, you need to get rid of them. And when you say, I will get rid of you, not be friends with you, not allow you in my energetic space, without anger, there can be no anger. It has to be only forgiveness. Okay, and thank you, God. Then they stop showing up. So you're on an energetic roller coaster ride, which means the universe is just going to keep sending you until you define a line in the sand. What are your boundaries?
I'm pretty communicative, and that's one of the things that I'm curious about. So I've had talks with my girlfriends about this, and they think there's something I'm doing, even though I'm pretty straightforward, pretty
blunt. Do you hear what I just said? Hey, listen. What I just say to you. What did I just say to you? Who cares if you're communicative? You don't keep dead weight in your energetic space, because let me tell you something. When your new guy comes in who's together, who loves you and wants to give you an emotional fulfillment, he ain't going to like any of these dead weights hanging around. Okay? You just picked up a bunch of litter of terrible, awful, angry, hungry cats. Get rid of them.
Ashley,
drop them off at the pound.
I also want you to know that my new best friend, Patty, if she'll take me, has been bossing me around for the last hour and a half. And
I knew what I was getting into.
Okay, but she really gives the best advice.
But you're not listening to me. You can't. You keep saying they're communicative. What is communicative? Here's the thing: men cannot hear you. All men learn from women with nonverbal signals. 90% of body language is nonverbal. Did you know that? So no matter what you say to them, they're not downlining. They're just saying, "I could fuck her. I could fuck her. I could fuck her when I feel like it. It's on my terms. I could fuck her. I could fuck her. I could fuck her." I really don't want to give her commitment. She's really hot, but there's something probably better out there for me. But if I was bored one night, midnight, I could probably fuck her.
Mm-hmm. So then what is the solution?
Get rid of them. No more friends. No more friends. No more friends. Define
my question was. Okay.
No, keep going. What's your question? I'm listening.
My question was. That's when I say I'm friends with them, I mean on good terms. I don't actively pursue friendships and we don't hang out.
Okay, that's not a friend. A friend is a friend is a friend. That's just somebody you said, okay, right. I'm not mad. Now maybe you need to say, you know what? I don't really want you in my life. It was really nice knowing you, and delete him out of your phone. Delete. Okay, take all those guys tonight. You're going to go home tonight, get a glass of wine, and delete. Residue. Get rid of the residue. Emails. Anything they've sent you. The shit they gave you, put it in a box in the garage. Delete. Get rid of the energy.
I do think it's true that you can't, and with this has been a learning lesson for me, which will be a lifelong one, that I cannot force somebody to like me if they don't.
But the thing is, she keeps getting the same thing over and over again. So remember when you have the issue about the men with no money and Chris changed that game?
Right.
Okay. You have to decide. It starts with a decision.
Right.
Like once you decide, I'll give you an example. So program men love me. AA people love me because I'm very responsible. I don't really drink that much, although I own a wine company and I drink my wine. PS Match. You can look for it online. But the bottom line is I decided I didn't want another program person. So the last 2 weeks, program people showed up on the apps and I was dating them and I didn't know about it till I got on the date. And then I just said, you know what? I don't really want them anymore. And I energetically canceled out, and I have a date Tuesday night with someone who's not in the program. So I didn't get mad. I just said, universe, thank you for showing me who he is on the first date. I didn't really, had a nice, lovely dinner, but he's not for me. You know that they're not emotionally unavailable when you first meet them, but you ignore it because they're cute and they're hot, or they're the package, or they have the right things, the right job, the right friends, right whatever. You're just ignoring the signals.
No, they're all like dorky Jewish guys.
But you think dorky Jewish guys?
My type.
Okay, but that's the problem. You're going for nasty nerds. So nasty nerds are never going to morph into the prince.
What's a nasty nerd?
A nasty nerd is a nerd who really turns on you and becomes nasty, and you're like, dude, you're a fucking nerd. You think there's a way to be nasty with me?
I've never heard that.
It's like the kind of harmless person that you think.
Thank you, but they're not. And the truth of the matter is, I looked at your picture. You're smoking. You should be, going for a higher guy, like somebody higher on the totem pole, reaching for the A team, not the D team. Fuck those nasty nerds. Maybe get out of Jewish Dodge.
Yeah.
Don't fucking go on J-Date anymore. Go on the fucking app that has like some nice nice Christian guys or some spiritual guys. Get out of mix it up a little bit. The type is not written in stone. Would you say Chris was your automatic type? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Not before I was ready.
Right.
For
so
it.
what were the men like before Chris? Listen to Anna.
They were dark, angry, not. They didn't have
Nasty
a
nerds.
lot of friends. Yes, but I loved like the anger,
mysteriousness of
yes,
them,
and they
like-
were and attractive, but loners.
Right. Okay. And Chris
And
is social and
he's
fun and
super
hot
vibe.
and
Yes.
blonde and
People-
rugged and sexy, and he could be considered a wood chopper, my favorite kind, because Washington has a lot of wood choppers. Okay. So think about it. That was not her type, but she was open to receive, and the universe
It took a minute.
The universe sent her husband. You're gonna say, "Oh, you're not my type." So God, I got to send that one back. But take another nasty
It took me a
nerd.
minute because he was so agreeable and popular, like with our cast and everything. I sort of, it wasn't like I was totally attracted to him, but I was also like, that's not the sort of the personality that I've been attracted to in the past. But what I didn't realize is that Chris is deep and he's intellectual, but I chose willfully to ignore that idea because I was drawn to, darker souls because it was tapping into, a level of unhappiness that
so
I
listen,
had.
Tim. So here's
Right.
this ray of sunshine that swoops in. Pretty successful. He's been on TV, he's been in the movies, and totally opposite her type. And she was open to it. She's like, look, he's not really my type, but he makes me laugh. Oh, I'm having a good time with him. He's my friend now. It progressed. Give it a fucking chance. You keep going after your type, you're going to be fucking alone. And those nasty nerds are not for you. Switch it the fuck up.
Also tall and hunky. It's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He is super sexy. I mean, he's my type, and I would go for
I
that.
did
And
want him.
I could be his mother right now. So, okay. What I'm trying to say is, like, stop. The type thing has got to go. I recently changed my type. I used to go for bodybuilders, like really tall, 6'2" bodybuilders. They were all my boyfriends. If you lined them up in a row, they all look the same. And now I go for surfer lanky types, like, cause somebody that I have a crush on looks like that. So the point of the story is I didn't realize that I was going for more of a different type. And he was metro, this guy, and he's dresses really great and he's really interesting and, that sort of thing. And I think I changed my type over the years. You're going to change your type every so often, especially when you hit the wall and they hurt you. You're going to go, not really my type anymore because I need to get a different type.
My early 30s, that was such a game changer for me. Like my whole 20s, I don't know. I made a lot of like good and bad decisions, but my early 30s, I feel like it was a shifter for me. And so, Ashley, I think that, I don't know, I totally agree with Patty and sort of expand your type and the idea of what you like. And maybe we shouldn't even use the word type anymore.
And Sim's girlfriend is sitting right here, and she even said that Sim wasn't normally what you would really go for, correct?
I mean, I've always liked tall, handsome men, don't get me wrong.
He's
but,
tall, handsome, and dark, by the way.
But I
Sexy.
usually go for more of like overqualified Wall Street types,
Right.
not really unqualified Hollywood types.
Okay.
I have an incredible education behind me. I've done really well for myself.
Oh, Sim, don't get
I know,
mad
but
now.
it's true. But it's true. But I normally dated lawyers and bankers and people in finance, and I had a very set idea in my head
She's
of what
a lawyer,
I thought
that's
that I wanted. And
Yeah.
I went out with Sim just because we knew some people in common. He was handsome, and I wanted a good dinner. And then it turned out to be fantastic. Just roll your eyes.
We went to Baco Mercat downtown. She worked downtown. You love that place?
Is that the place where they have the little macaroons that I love? That place in the front? No, I know that place name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's true. I tried very hard to avoid dating men in Hollywood, and now here I am on a celebrity podcast.
But the truth of the matter is, you can't put everyone in a box, okay?
It's true.
And you need to open up your sexual gates. You might be surprised. Who's your celebrity crush, by the way?
My celebrity crush is probably, this is going to be so typecast, but like a comedian, like a John Mulaney type or
He
Seth Rogen
wrote for
type.
SNL. He had a TV show for a while.
Of course,
He's
you
like-
got
he's like
somebody who's
he's a
nerdy
smart,
and obscure.
yeah.
But he's not Jewish.
But he's handsome as well.
Yeah, he's Irish. He's not
He's
Jewish.
educated. He's like an adult, but he's just sweet and
How
kind
old
and
is
like a
he?
normal.
He's probably in his 30s,
Non-dated.
mid to late 30s.
So is he
Dorky.
single? Is he single? What's
He's
your-
married.
Oh, he's
No, no,
married.
he's
Oh, he's married. Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, that would be
Would you like
my
a
type,
Jimmy
though.
Fallon type?
Like a Judd Apatow kind of guy. Like a funny, smart, down-to-earth, kind-hearted
Well,
person.
Leslie
But
Mann
weirdly-
needs to train you, bitch. I mean, seriously. Okay, all right. Well, okay. Here's the
She's like-
here's the theory.
she's a
Okay,
goddess.
go to where do you live? You live in New York City? Go to the Lincoln Center. Go to the Lincoln Center Synagogue on a Saturday morning. You'll throw a rock. There'll be 50 of them. Trust me on this one. I live down the street on 72nd and Columbus. I know where these freaking men are, and they're all over Temple on Saturday. And then don't forget to join their singles group. Okay?
Well, I'm moving back to San Francisco in like a month. So,
okay. Well, I don't know how many Jews there are there. It's a lot of Asians, so I don't know. Shabbat Shalom, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe Jeb Abida has like a really great brother or a nephew. Let's put it out there. Let's put it out in the universe because, they're cranking cash over there.
Hey,
Ash. Like, you know who's single? Jonah Hill's single. And I bet you Anna knows him.
You know what? Anna does know Jonah.
Jonah would be a good one. Jonah's a Westlake boy. He's a nice Jewish boy.
Jonah, are you ready to set them up?
No, yes.
I think you're a matchmaker.
Yes, exactly.
Shit is happening as we speak.
We went from saying go to a synagogue to move to LA and let you hook her up with Jonah.
Look, Jonah's single. I know that for a fact. He said he loved matchmaker and he was single. I heard it recently. So there you go.
Ashley, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope Patty gave you the advice that you needed. And send us an email. Let us know how you're doing. And again, thank you so much.
Right. Lincoln Center Synagogue.
Cool.
Trust me. There are 50 of them there.
All right.
I know it's late there. Thank you so much.
Ashley,
Good night.
Thank you so much for calling.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So the next clip we're about to play is from our episode with Courtney Love. So Anna, tell me what was going on through your mind when Courtney Love walked into your house?
Oh my God. I think when Courtney Love walked into my house, you know that I'm rarely at a loss for words, and I feel like that a little bit right now because I'm reliving the experience a bit. I felt like, someone that I grew up with. But from such a distance, I grew up in a suburban area and north of Seattle during, the grunge years and in the early 90s. And so Courtney Love was like always a part of like a dialogue in some form or another, I guess. So to have her walk into my house was just, I really was speechless. And I think it was one of those interviews too where I felt truly what do I ask her? I couldn't stop. I was in such awe. I get starstruck a lot, and I get starstruck with every guest pretty much.
That's a charming quality to have for you, by the way. I'm sorry, continue, but I just wanted to say that when you do get starstruck and it's completely evident, it's really charming because you know that they feel the same way about you, and you handle that so gracefully. So it's really endearing.
Oh God, I never think that anyone's like that, or if they are, I always feel like, oh, maybe they're faking it, but whatever. That's my own insecurities. But no, because there's so many people that I admire that I've seen from afar, and then I get the great, like these amazing opportunities where I actually get to like interact with these people, and sometimes they're disappointing, but sometimes they're pretty incredible. And anyway, so Courtney Love, especially being from the music world, we don't have a ton of musicians necessarily on our show, and so I felt like I didn't quite like how do I ask her about the process, and what I felt like with Courtney, I felt like at times she was incredibly vulnerable in a way that I was so appreciative of, and then at times she was really she had a guard up, and rightfully so. I mean, she's been through so much, and it made me think a lot about the idea as actors, we get to hide behind, while we're exposed a lot, but we get to hide behind characters in our creative world. And as musicians, you don't necessarily get that. And there's a little bit more of, it's a little more solitary, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Anyway, but it was a complete thrill. I thought she looked fucking gorgeous. I was, like, one of the highlights of my life was afterwards when she played in my kitchen, played guitar.
Completely unexpected, and I couldn't believe that. I mean, a private Courtney Love concert in your kitchen for 5 of us. It was amazing.
It was amazing, and I loved, you know, she was really frank about a lot of things that really surprised me, and I think that it probably was interesting and helpful. And you know, one of the goals that we've talked about the podcast has been like how we want to have a fun podcast where we, you know, interview celebrities and do ridiculous things, but we also want to be relatable and of potentially of help of some kind, even if it's just somebody being able, like, oh man, I can really relate to that. And I think that she was pretty frank about some of the shit that she went through. I mean, although I don't think I've had guys write songs about me, although I would like to think.
You're telling me Chris has never written a song about you? He's written poetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
But come on, like, I mean, a song that's on the radio.
Oh, you want an actual song on the radio? Okay, fine.
Come on, yeah. Sure, I have a movie star husband, but has he written me a song that's been on the radio?
You're right, Chris. Get on that
fuck
immediately.
My life. And that's what the kids say, don't they? They say fuck my life.
They say,
anyway,
yeah, that's FML. The acronym is FML, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
So, Anna, it's almost impossible to listen to every minute of every one of our podcasts, and sometimes our listeners, they may have missed out on a lot of the fun that happens towards the end of the episodes, and things get a little nutty at the end of this Courtney Love episode. So here it is from August 23rd. Here's Courtney Love.
Sim does this crazy signal with his finger where he swirls it around.
Did that mean shut up?
I guess it means wrap it all up, but I've never been able to really figure it out. Will you do it again, Sim? Oh.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. No, you're so bad at that.
How should I do it? This is right.
No, you can't even waggle your finger correctly. Oh, Sim, I love you so much, but I also, it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't say fuck you.
Exactly. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yes. I got Courtney Love to say fuck you to me. I love it.
Courtney, will you say it with like a lot of growl and passion?
Some gusto?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Sim.
Fuck you.
Sim.
Fuck you.
But maybe.
Sim. No. Let me do it like I'm angry and I love her.
Okay.
Sim. Fuck you.
That was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's as much as I can muster
loved it.
for right now.
Courtney, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks
We
for having me hang out
love
with you.
having you.
I had a calzone. I met the baby. I met the parents. Kiwi's here. Osama's here.
Hey, Courtney,
Yes, darling.
would you do me a big favor and would you tell me to fuck you, Anna?
No, I don't want
Come
to.
on,
You're so vulnerable
please,
and like little.
please.
You're like
Please,
little.
I'm stronger than you
You're
think.
like a little
I'm
dog.
stronger than you
Yeah,
think.
you like to be spun around and
Yes,
thrown
I
up against
do.
that
You know
wall,
that,
bitch.
you
You know that,
that,
bitch.
you
You know that, bitch. You little slut. You little whore. You know you like it. You know you like it, you little fucking whore. Slam. Slam. Fuck you. Fuck you. Donna, fuck you. Yeah, say you want it again. And again. And again, you little slut. Fuck you. Yeah.
Courtney.
I guess we know who the top is in this relationship. Oh my God, I'm always the bottom.
Anna, our next guest we're going to discuss is Regina Hall. Tell me why you feel your friendship has been so strong over the years.
I met Regina in 1999 when we were auditioning for the first scary movie, which at the time was called Scream If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. And we were both cast in it. And I think 3 days later after we got cast, we were up in Vancouver together. And I felt like, oh my God, I just have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Like I'm suddenly in a hotel room. Somebody's picking me up in a van. I'm going to a trailer to get fitted for, I truly had no idea of anything about the process of being, in this industry. And Regina was just so kind. She had like a neighboring hotel room to me, and she was just unbelievable to me. And then as the years went on, we were the only ones that were in all 4, although there were 5 scary movies, but we were in all 4 together, and so our friendship just grew stronger and stronger, and we just spent a lot of time together, and we would just spend all day on set just giggling about absurd things. We both have a really absurd, raunchy sense of humor and extremely, extremely different backgrounds. And, we would laugh a lot about why are these 2 characters, Cindy Campbell and Brenda, I don't know if we ever really figured out her last name, I can't remember, good friends. And because it made no sense. Cindy was this incredibly nerdy, idiotic white girl, and Regina was a very, street savvy, not always the nicest gal, but for whatever reason they were good friends. And it sort of, we always sort of felt like it kind of cemented in the weirdest way the idea of these spoof movies. But we just made each other laugh, and she has this wonderful juxtaposition of she's fairly religious, although I don't want to speak too much about her views about anything, but also just not afraid at all to get raunchy, and I think we've had this enduring. I mean, she has one of, if not the best laugh that I've ever heard.
She really does.
And my love for her couldn't. We sadly, just because of the way blood friendships go, we talk about every 6 months. But when we do, it's like we're right back in the groove. And I'm so grateful that I know her, and I dream that I get to work with her again.
Before I play the clip, remind our listeners, what is Fistgina?
Oh, Fistgina. That was the band that we made up when we got bored on set. Because there's a lot of downtime, believe it or not, making the scary movies while they're setting up all the ridiculous props and horrible stuff that we're about to do. So Regina and I made a band called Fistgina, and we sang a lot of ridiculous songs. And I think, and we were up in Canada, and I think that I have to imagine that most of that Canadian crew, and we just got such a big kick out of it. They must have been like, these idiotic girls. What are they doing? Because we would just be in one of each other's trailers, which were little, dinky trailers, even though we, whatever. But whatever. I can't complain about trailers and stuff, but just like making up like the nastiest verses we could possibly imagine for our band Fishgina.
So you made up a couple of verses in this clip. So from September 20th, here is Regina Hall and Anna Faris and their band Fishgina.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Okay.
But are you single? And you can just do a head jerk if you don't want to talk about it.
I'm seeing someone, yes. I am.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll explore that later privately, listeners.
Yes.
But let's imagine that
Anna gets the juice.
Yeah. The juice, like the river.
The lubricated river.
Of Regina. Regina is a lubricant.
Yeah.
How
like
does
that.
How does it go?
That sounds like a Fishgina song.
It's off of kind of Your Body is a Wonderland.
Yeah.
Regina is a lubricant.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think John Mayer's going to write a song about me?
Probably.
Called Regina is a lubricant.
Regina is a lubricant.
I'm going to try something.
So pretty.
Okay, here I'm going to try something. Sing Regina. Oh wait, what is it? Regina is a lubricant.
Yeah.
Sing
Regina
it. I'm going to.
lubricant.
I'm going to put a little. I'm going to put a little music behind it.
Oh.
In the edit.
Okay.
So let's see how it
Okay.
sounds.
But do we have another good follow up lyric? I can't
Regina
remember.
is a lubricant.
Doesn't he just go?
How does that song go?
Your body is a wonderland.
Body's a
That's all I know.
wonderland.
Regina is
The
a lubricant.
Something about the way you look tonight. Is that
Isn't
part
it like
of
a
it? No.
Or
Yeah,
am I thinking
it's
of
it's an agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll
Just
agree.
Try it, and then I'm going to
Okay.
put the music
Okay.
in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Regina is a lubricant. Regina is a lubricant.
Wow.
It's
If
great.
that doesn't say hit record, I think Fishgina has done it again. You wrote that one though. I mean, you did that one.
Oh, I love it when you give me credit. Well, I'm like what? I'm like the Paul Simon behind
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Garfunkel Simon.
Yeah. I mean, this is historic. I think we've made another classic. That's what we do.
Hitmakers.
Listeners, you got to hear that live.
Oh yeah.
They know what. Well, that's the magic.
Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
We're gonna sell out.
Oh my goodness, that's next.
A
3-minute concert.
5-second songs.
A 3-minute concert. Oh.
That would be
That would be amazing. That would be incredible.
Wait until everybody's in their seats before we start, though. We don't want people to miss it. Yeah, we're definitely
We'll
that.
make them wait for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be the divas.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe you might even come up with one right again on that stage about how many people are there.
That's true.
It's a lot of people here tonight.
There's 53.
Yeah. That's the song. Let's
wait.
do it again. It's a lot of people here tonight.
There's 53.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
This is when you know you've been surrounded by people who tell you, who give you too many compliments for a long time.
When you start making
You two are
When you
amazingly
convince
creative
yourself
together.
that you're good.
that you're amazing. This is how fast fish should. We had like 10.
I know, but I like it when we do talk about either pussy or dicks or something
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's always fun.
Yeah.
That's what Fishgina is known for. That's the heart of our material.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. It's. Let's do the one we just did again. What's?
How many people are there?
No,
out there?
that one.
Okay, are you going to
53
raunch it
people?
up a little?
Yeah. I'm gonna
Oh,
watch
okay,
that.
okay, good.
What's the first line? Again?
How many people are there out there?
Yeah. How many people are here tonight? I think I did that in the sound of Your Body is a Wonderland.
That's all we know. We do every
By the way,
song.
if you want to try it, I'll put the music underneath.
Okay. How many people? Maybe that should be our
Yeah.
new- I think we're going to do that as a run. Because that whole song is like 10 of our songs. You know. How many people are here tonight?
53.
Do they all have penises?
I'm not sure.
I hope they all have penises.
I too. I hope they're long and girthy, like me.
Oh, that was good.
I just wanted to be like.
That's
I
a
wanted to
long
really
one.
throw people, you know,
I like that.
Does Anna Faris have a penis? I don't know. That should be like
You know what I thought?
Twitter.
I thought you described yourself as long
I
and
did
girthy.
too. I thought you were describing you and not your penis.
Well, no, but wouldn't it be fun to have a Twitter hashtag Anna Faris has a penis?
Oh no!
Or I like.
By the way, you're doing it right now. I said, "Oh no," because it's going to happen right now.
But don't you
I
think
like.
it's funny?
I like
would
it
be
better
so
when
complimented.
does Anna Faris have a penis?
Oh, okay.
That's
So the
long and
hashtag-
girthy.
Long and girthy.
That's long. And
Let's see
girthy.
how many hashtags we can get flying out there on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
What's the hashtag?
Hashtag does Anna Faris have a penis?
That's long and girthy.
That's long and girthy.
That's a long hashtag.
Okay. Girthy. Long and girthy. Anna, long and girthy.
Hashtag Anna long and girthy.
That's it.
That's it. You know what? And dear listeners, you're just going to have to
Hashtag
wait to
Fishgina,
find the
too.
answer.
Hashtag Fishgina. I'm going to find out when I go in the attic after this podcast.
So Anna, our next guest is Ken Jeong. And we were all in the mood to laugh that evening. And he's such a special person, isn't he?
Ken is unbelievable. I think that I almost had a hernia.
We were sweating. It was amazing. You played Kayla and you were on a date with Ken and he's playing Chow from the Hangover movies. And it was absolutely hysterical. So that's in part 1 of the episode. If you didn't get a chance to listen to the episode, but Ken had us dying, just rolling.
He also has an incredibly infectious laugh.
Yes,
but he's and is genuinely hysterical, and also is a fascinatingly brilliant person. I mean, he's a doctor. You know, he comes from this incredibly interesting background. His wife is a doctor. He's got kids. He came into the entertainment industry late in life. Like, his story is just so amazing, and he is so willing to enjoy it. It's so wonderful to meet somebody in the industry who is like my impression of him just was like, isn't this fucking awesome?
yes,
And it's so refreshing to get that perspective again, because it is, and it's easy when you get bogged down in rejection and the work hours and whatever, like, you know, working with people that aren't the nicest, that you lose sight of, like, this is really what we do is really special, and we are incredibly fortunate. And Ken sort of he gave me like that childlike giddiness again, because that's what he has, and it is very it's catchy.
Well, listening to the episode again put me in a really, really happy mood. And this clip, again, happened as we were wrapping up the show. For some reason, Ken decides to turn into Jay Leno. So from September 27th, here is Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong has a TV show. It's called Dr. Ken. It's on Fridays on ABC. ABC.
Very simple letters, guys. I really don't think it could be
at
8:30 Friday
p.m. on
September
Fridays.
23rd.
They could also buy it on iTunes if they wanted.
Yes, they can. They
Yes,
can buy it on
can.
iTunes.
But they can't go anywhere else, like no Netflix, no Hulu, none of that.
Right. Just
Yeah,
iTunes, I
just
believe.
you gotta-
now.
Hey,
And
why
I think,
to eliminate?
I think
What a fucking dick.
Well, that's a common question. It's like, hey, can I watch your show on,
no,
on Hulu or
I
Netflix?
think ABC.com. I think ABC.com.
ABC.com or
Yep.
the ABC app.
ABC app, correct. Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
What
Yep.
Where else?
Um,
Hangover 1, 2, and 3. Community is available probably on Hulu.
On Hulu, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, actually
Are you
it is.
sure? Yeah,
It is
You
actually,
can watch.
yeah.
You can watch old episodes of Hulu.
Yeah.
on Community on Hulu, I should say.
Have you had anyone from Community on here yet?
No,
like
we
Joel McHale or
no, we
some of my
haven't. But
friends?
she did a movie with Joel McHale.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
What's your number?
What's your number? Yes. Yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Why'd you give
Chris
him a
Pratt
hint?
was also in it.
Fuck you. Let's make Ken do it again.
Okay, all right. She, you know what? She knows Joel McHale.
Oh yeah,
they did a movie together.
They did a movie together. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was
What
called?
was the movie called?
Battleship.
Battleship.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Decker.
Close. Close.
BattleBots.
Is there any way you could? It's actually. It has a question mark at the end of the title.
Battleship.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's
All right.
more of like a romantic, but less spaceshipy.
Annie Hall. What's your number?
But do it up again.
What's your number?
So good, yes. That was
Is that what Leno said when you? So we have a next movie coming out. What's your number? Coming out in August. Great to have you on Faris, everybody. How no movie coming out? What's your number? Is that how he said it?
Oh my God.
That is so depressing. But yes, you're totally right.
Before we go, we can cut this out. 1 minute interview. You as Jay Leno, you're interviewing Anna about her new movie. It's called. What movie do you want to be interviewed about? You want to be? What's your number? We just said what's your number? Oh, interviewed about the podcast. Boom.
Okay. And by the way, Leno, I love Leno. I've been.
No, Leno's amazing.
Yeah. So Anna.
Oh wait. You need to introduce her.
Our next guest is she's you've seen her several movies when in several punctuated titles of What's Your Number? What's Your Number? And What's Your Number? Please welcome Anna Faris. Anna. Hey. Oh, so looking really good. Looking a little sleep, a little tired here. So anyway, tell me about your movie.
Oh,
That's great.
well,
Anyway, we'll be right back with the message with Anna Faris after this message from Tampax. Hey. And 1, 2, 3. And we're back on the Faris. So we laughed or cried about your movie. What's the name of the movie going on?
so the movie is called Jump Jump Jump. And
It's called Jump Jump Jump?
Jump Jump Jump. And
Great title.
I'm so proud because.
And what do you play in Jump Jump Jump?
Well, I play sort of a woman from the streets.
Oh, Jump Jump.
Yeah.
Yes, I read the book. I read the book. I read, okay? Okay? Kevin, I read, okay? I read sometimes. Yeah, I know you read. Yeah, I read. I just read. I'm sorry. It's Jump Jump and Jump 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 Jump.
Anyway, so as a teacher, I wanted to.
It's funny, a teacher. Good. Jump some teacher. Go on, sorry. Go on. Kevin, let us speak. Jeez. Sorry, just. Sorry, she looked. Is there something I said? You look a little. You look a little mad. Is there something I did? Just have you on. You're promoting your movie. Give me all the time in the world. You okay?
Yeah, I feel really good right now.
Okay. Anyway.
So, when I was cast in Jump Jump Jump, I felt like, oh, this is a role that's going to stretch me,
Because of all the jumping. It's like jumping and I'm stretching and so I made it. So is that what made it get that kind of role? Like, oh, I'm stretch things out. So, hey, I'll jump off a pole and, I'll tether myself to some cement block and then I'll just jump and then I'll stretch.
Yeah.
I love it. Sounds.
So, did you see the movie? Because I think that my publicist sent you the screener, or
I have not. Because I'll tell you why. It's Kevin here. He'll tell you why. Kevin. 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 Kevin? 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 Kevin?
Ken?
I wasn't interested. That's why I didn't see it. That's the complete lack of interest. Sorry. Anyway, on about the movie. Chum chum, chum chum. A lot of stretching, a lot of jumping going on. Anyway, we'll be right after this from Wonder Bread.
Next is Katie Couric. So, Anna, when I sent you a text saying Katie Couric wants to come on the podcast, what was going through your head?
I kind of thought, you don't really fuck with me. I didn't fully think that.
I had to take a screenshot of the email.
I think that I thought that somebody was fucking with you, potentially.
That's what I thought originally, too. But then I actually did some background, and it turned out, no, it was legit. She really wanted to come on the show.
And then I quickly became, like, beyond, like, floored and flat, because that was when there's been several moments where it felt like, okay, we've crossed over from this being like, hey, I'm going to invite like a couple of friends over for some, cocktails and pizza and make them record their voices, to like, oh, this is now becoming something legitimate, or at least semi-legitimate. So then there's been a few moments of those. When Katie Couric walked into my house, that was like, holy shit.
That's when we looked at each other and we were like, what is going on? What's happening right now? This is real.
Yeah. Like, can't I just go back to, like, giggling, dumb blonde? And I probably did.
And you did that, and so did Katie. Katie was game for all of that, which is what I loved about this episode. You really brought out a playful, fun side of Katie that she's always had, and I'm sure people see that, but just seeing it in this kind of environment where she was completely relaxed, and it was fun to watch. And
it was so amazing too. I loved it that she, especially the woman, that she is such an established journalist and so well regarded and respected in her field, and at the same time isn't afraid to let down her guard and laugh. And to me, it felt like, I guess that's kind of in the oddest of ways, like the ultimate confidence, like somebody who doesn't have to always play a role, especially as a woman in that industry of being completely severe. And I loved talking with her, and I'm still am hugely flattered, and I've been watching her recently on the Today Show, and I'm just like, oh my God, she was on my podcast.
It's pretty mind blowing, isn't it?
I can't believe it. And anyway, so I'm forever, ever grateful for Katie Couric for being open to doing something as ridiculous as our podcast, and also just sort of being the person, the trailblazing person that she is.
And in last week's episode, Anna, you discussed how you wanted to address all types of bullying this year on the podcast. So it turns out Katie Couric has some thoughts as well. From October 3rd, here's Katie Couric.
Sim, we've been getting some bullying lately.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, look at Sim. Yeah, he's like, what? Anyway, okay, he's totally cutting this out. All right.
What? Who's been bullying you?
Well, people have been, it's like now that we have a podcast, people are sending in their opinions. And I've been trying to tell Sim, like, I've been, I don't know, in the public forum, I'm not that famous, whatever, but yeah, I get mean things said about me all the time.
Right. In the past 10 months since I've started doing the podcast with Anna, occasionally I'll get trolled. So now I'm starting to think it's funny, and I'll read some of these.
It's not funny.
tweets.
It's just mean.
It's mean. I just don't understand.
No, it's just mean. It's not funny. It's mean. Honestly, I never get used to it. I was looking at Facebook because I'm here for Stand Up to Cancer, which is an organization that I helped start with some other women.
Your video, sorry. Yes.
Anyway, because I did a video sort of how I got started.
Yeah, right.
But I was going through my Facebook mentions, and I don't go on Facebook that much. I really use Twitter and Instagram a little bit more, but I was looking at Facebook because I had posted this profile of this darling girl named Abby Shapiro who died of osteosarcoma when she was just 16 years old and an only child, and I've gotten to know her parents a little bit. And I introduced her to Carly Kloss, and Carly was just amazing. She went to see her at Georgetown Hospital in Washington. She would call her from the VMAs. I mean, she really took an interest in this young woman and made me really appreciate the person Carly Kloss is. I mean, I thought how wonderful that she did that. I never met Abby. I just connected them. And I got to know her parents after she passed away. But anyway, I posted this sort of tribute to her because I was doing that in the days leading up to our event here in Los Angeles. And I read this comment, and some guy said, Katie, I watched your interview with Tom Hanks. Clearly you're over tanning. Your skin looks like a monkey's scrotum. And I thought, wow, really? First of all, I thought, oh gosh, maybe I am over tanning. But then I thought, like, what motivates someone to be so nasty? And it's almost like, I think, when you become a public figure per se, people completely lose sight that you're a real person, and they almost it's this weird kind of objectification or depersonalization. And it's when I read these mean comments, it's like a knife in my heart.
Totally. But I told Sim, I was like, listen, these are people that want your attention, and also, of course, it's going to jar. I mean, I've had people totally tear apart my looks time and time again, and I can't every time you can get a ton of compliments that are so wonderful and feel so good, but then there's that one thing that somebody says that does rip you apart a little bit, and you are jarred, and you rationalize it within yourself. You're like, okay, this person's messed up, whatever. But yeah, and I think that's it's mystifying the idea of somebody being cruel for the sake of attention, I guess. Or
there's no preparation. No one ever prepared me for this at all. And it's not like I get a ton of trolls. I've gotten a few, and we're getting amazing compliments, and people are everyone has been so nice to us. But occasionally you'll get someone that says something really mean, and no one ever prepared me for that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think what's interesting is to really sort of figure out the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I usually rationalize it or kind of come to terms with it by saying it's usually the product of people who are really unhappy, unhappy with their own lives, unhappy with what they've done or where they are. And it's very easy, I think, when you're in a bad place to lash out at people who seem to be happy or seem to have things that you don't have. You know, I think that's a very weird primal instinct. I don't know if you all have ever felt like jealous or resentful of people.
Never.
But it's almost, I mean, it's almost like this thing that just kind of bubbles up in you, and you can't necessarily keep it at bay. You know, because everyone has a lot of
Katie,
different
you're
feelings.
so generous.
No, but I'm just saying, so it's really hard for me to handle, and I've been doing this a long time. But you know, when I used to do the Today Show, the internet wasn't around. Yeah. And so Willard Scott had this really darling secretary named Nancy Fields, and she was a secretary back then. And she would open up our mail. And I remember somehow I was in this room with them sometimes with Nancy and another assistant, and I would go and hang out with them. And some man wrote this very insulting note. I mean, he was an older gentleman. You could tell from his writing, and I think he might even have said his age. But he said, I thought your dress was so unattractive, and your hair looks like a ski slope for an adventurous sparrow, or something like that. And I thought, oh, that wasn't very nice. And clearly,
odd that it was creatively like insulting,
right? But funny how I remember this. I mean, this was probably in the early '90s. But I thought, well, that was a letter. And most of them ended up in the circular file. But with the internet, you can't avoid these comments, because if you're looking sort of for any kind of feedback, you can't help but then suddenly you're like, oh, what? Right? And it's and so it's very hard to avoid. And I think, wow, gosh, other people must be dealing with this too. And I'm not the only one, for sure. And I think, I'm sure Anderson Cooper gets his fair share of critical comments, and even Lester Holt, or people who are doing the news, or whomever, And so I think everybody gets it.
Yeah.
But it does sort of remind you of this negative side of human nature that is very disconcerting and disappointing, right?
It's the anonymous bullying, and it's true. It's like, I'm jealous.
You're jealous?
No. I mean, I think that's what
that's what they're saying.
The root is.
Or I'm just ignorant and hate, full of hate. I interviewed Jonathan Weissman on our podcast, and he's the Washington editor for the New York Times, and he tweeted an article about Donald Trump and fascism that was written by a pretty conservative columnist, and the level of anti-Semitism he received was so shocking, where people were, and he retweeted it all, because it, just as Leslie Jones did, he wanted people to bear witness to what was going on the internet.
Right.
And I thought it was really brave of him, because I'm not about to retweet insulting things, because I'm so embarrassed. And I think part of the embarrassment is the collective shaming you feel when other people are reading these awful comments. It feels like,
of course,
it feels like a schoolyard taunt that everybody's listening to, and they're all kind of looking at you and embarrassing you and shaming you. But anyway, Jonathan Weissman, I mean, it was just incredible. People were sending him corpses from the Holocaust.
Oh my God.
They were sending him, menorahs that said 6 million and candles. I mean, it was so grotesque and disgusting. And this is what the internet has wrought. I mean, it's done a lot of really positive things. I say the great, well, I mean, access to information.
True.
It builds communities. It helps kind of fuel social movements, So I think it has a lot of positive attributes. But, I say the good news about the internet is it allows everybody to have an opinion and everybody to have a voice. And the bad news about the internet, it allows everyone to have an opinion and everyone to have a voice, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're still all grappling with sort of what this is doing to our level of discourse and to us as a society and to our humanity, right?
Yeah, completely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dear listeners, Katie Couric.
She just dropped the mic.
My dining room.
Is it hot in here?
It is hot.
It's hot.
Okay,
It's hot.
good. I thought I was having a hot flash.
No, it's hot because my tits are so huge, Katie.
Next name I have here for you, Anna, is Allison Janney. What does she mean to you?
Allison Janney, I call her Jambone on set. I think Allison has been such a game changer for me in so many ways. I don't even know how quite to put it in words. I was trying to write out her birthday card a few weeks ago, and I truly didn't know the words to say because I have so many. Mostly just love. I couldn't love this woman more. I mean, today when I had to stay after work and get my hair done, and she stayed after and pretended to be the most obnoxious makeup artist ever. And if you could see me right now, I look like a clown. because she was pretending to be Juju, like this bitter makeup artist and I was pretending to be a 23-year-old ex-Nickelodeon star. Yeah, that's the kind of fucked up shit that Allison and I do.
So instead of going home after work, she decided to hang out and just play with you?
Yes, and play with me while I was getting my hair done. She did my makeup, and I seriously have glitter all over my face. I look like I've been to a strip club. Juju, her character, was very mad at me, but we get to do stuff like that, but we also have incredibly intimate, serious conversations, and I'm just so lucky that on a daily basis I get to see one of my closest friends, and also I learn from her all the time too, acting wise, and just who she is as a person, and I'm just forever grateful that she's in my life, and I know that no matter what happens with the show, I'm going to annoy her for the rest of her life.
Aww.
And I'm grateful. Yeah.
Do you remember the game that Allison and I played? The game where we competed against each other to see who knows you more?
Yeah. Who won?
I don't know. I think it was a tie. I don't remember. That doesn't really matter.
I don't think it was.
I think the more important takeaway from that game was that things got a little heated and a little controversial, especially about the question, what professions you would not date?
Yeah, I can't believe that I think that she...
And me. What happened to your memory, Anna? And me.
Yeah, right. Well, I expect, because you never listen to anything anyway.
All right. Judge for yourself. From November 1st, here is Allison Janney.
Do we want to do this part or this part? That part? That means that you have to take over because I don't really know.
Well, I don't know what it is. You and Cassie did this.
I'm doing this? Haha. I feel a little bit embarrassed about this because this is a game called Who Knows Anna Better. I always make the podcast about me because
it's your
I'm a
fucking
narcissist.
podcast. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But anyway, all right. We're just gonna.
You're being very humble, is what you're being.
I'm attempting to be. It's my faux humbleness.
Gotcha.
Does it sound convincing?
It does. What's going on? What's happening? Do it.
I think we're gonna have. Can we have Cassie explain the rules?
Yes.
Anna's going to ask a series of questions about herself. Okay. And you guys are going to write down what you think the answer is and hold it up, and then Anna's going to say what her answer is.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Copy that.
Okay.
Copy. Yeah.
If Anna wasn't an actor, what would she be? Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2.
Wait, hold on. Hang on. We have to write the answers down.
What is Anna's favorite curse word?
Okay.
Hang on.
What was Anna's first car?
Okay.
Who was Anna's first kiss?
Oh God, what's the hell's that guy's name?
What is the one occupation Anna would never date?
Okay.
Last one. What is Anna's onset tool to get people to pay attention?
Okay.
Okay. I feel a lot of confidence coming from Allison over here.
Oh, you have no idea. Sim, what are you writing up?
I'm trying to think of. Okay, which one was it? Fuck. I'm so fucked.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Okay. All right. We're okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, Allison. If Anna was an actor, what would she be?
Porn star.
I put drama teacher in a small town, like local theater.
You're both sort of right and wrong at the same time. I was going to go with camp counselor, but I do want to be like the pervy kind. So, and which also I could be the theater director at a camp. So I give 1 point each. Okay. You know, the kind that sort of wants to sleep with the campers. Mm-hmm. I might not, but you never know. Okay.
Well, you should tell us your answer before we go. So we'll reveal it after. After you read the question, you tell us what the answer is. Your answer.
No. You just know you're going to lose. So fuck you. My game, my rules.
Oh, it's your game? You didn't even know what this game was until Cassie presented it to you
now I
5
know.
minutes ago.
Now I know. Fuck off. What is Anna's favorite curse word?
At the 1, 2, 3.
Fuck
Cunt.
you, Sim.
1 point each. I love them both. I like owning cunt. I don't want some other people to own that word, so I'm just going to own it. And I do also love, as my listeners know, to say fuck you, Sim. So 1 point each.
You're being very generous to me. Thank you. I just decided
she is being
to have.
Generous
Yeah.
to you.
What was Anna's first car?
1, 2, 3.
Monte
Dodge Dart.
Carlo.
Dodge Dart. Wasn't that your first car?
No, it's literally the first car I thought of, and I was like, since I don't really know,
I think I knew it was a big car. It was a big car.
I gotta give this a Sim. It was a
serious?
Monte Carlo.
Was it a Monte Carlo? I wasn't
Tell
sure.
me it was
a big car.
Tell me it was a maroon Monte Carlo.
It was.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, Allison.
I feel like I knew this.
Yes,
I knew this,
I've
but
told
see,
you
I'm
this.
not good at
I tell you
accessing.
the same. It's because you check. You totally zone. Listen, I would too if I were you. I would once I start talking.
Do you remember what my first car was?
Dodge Dart.
A Scirocco.
What's that?
It's a Volkswagen. I know that we've played that game before after, know, and you ask everyone. So I know that I also told you this, but you don't remember that.
No, because that's the thing about the go around is that nobody actually pays attention to anybody else's answers. You just wait to
you want to say your answer. And
I think you mentioned Monte Carlo on a podcast once, so I remember that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Okay, who was on his first kiss?
1, 2, 3. Alice and Janney. Say it again. Alice and Janney.
Alice and Janney. Have you two ever kissed?
I could.
Yes.
Have we ever kissed? That's our thing. What the hell? What's that guy's name? What's his name?
Well, there was Brent, who was my first boyfriend. So technically, you're both wrong.
But who was the guy?
Brandon was my first kiss. Anyway. Listen, guys.
So do I get partial credit for
I think you both do because technically Allison was my first
female kiss.
No, but the first person who's played my mom that I've made out with.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Gotcha. And Brent is somebody that I just talk about.
So we
a lot.
both deserve credit for that then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sim, I can hear your subtext there.
Totally.
Okay, go ahead.
What was the one occupation Anna would never date?
Musician. Right?
Yeah.
What?
Magician? A magician or a musician?
No.
Same thing.
No, first of all, let me clarify this. I don't think it's a great idea to date a musician,
sounds better
but
than
I
it
like
is.
them.
But a magician is one.
Magician. What the fuck
Maybe
is
all this
wrong?
time I thought you were saying musician.
I thought they were both in the same category.
Magician.
I thought you hated both equally.
No. First of all, I don't hate any of them. I just think it's a bad idea. But
you're creeped out by both.
No, I'm not creeped. God damn it.
Okay,
what the fuck episode is this?
Magician is you would never date because why?
It bothers the idea of somebody getting off on tricking me really fucks with my head.
Okay.
And musicians, I love and I worship them too much. Come on, guys, get this fucking shit together. Where the fuck have you been?
I wish we could go back to the recordings and then start playing your old.
Oh, fine. My stance has not changed.
It hasn't.
Yes,
you are recorded. It's out there. People can fact check.
Oh my god. I don't know if I've ever said "fuck you, Sim" with more vengeance right now.
You know what? I'm never gonna. These things are cemented in my mind now. You play this game with me,
and you are not off the hook either.
I know I'm not.
Who's winning, by the way?
I know I got the last one.
You both.
I know that I have this next one, and you don't, Sim. You're going down on this one, on this number 6.
What is Anna's onset tool to get people to pay attention?
1, 2, 3.
Opening
a gavel.
No, I wish. Clearly, that would have been helpful.
I got to give that to Sim too. That's very good.
Wait, what was your answer for the first one?
Porn star.
But that's a good one too.
It is a good one, but it's not.
No, but also though, because you've heard me do my porn,
I have.
And that was part of the genesis. Maybe for old time's sake, we should do a little couple of porn noises, please, Sam. Please, come on, please, come on.
It's up to Allison.
Do you want to be the dude? You be the
God,
dude.
no, I'm getting uncomfortable. I feel a little.
I'll do all the work. You just be the dude. All you have to do is do what Bradley did on just the release at the end. Ready?
Okay, but how long? Okay, I'll do the release.
I'll just do a few moments of squealing, and then you do the
Are you
release.
going to point to me, or am I going to just know? Okay.
You'll just know.
Okay.
You'll know. Ready?
Anna Faris porn star scene. Action. Take one. Action.
Sure. Hi, mommy.
Hi, mom and dad.
That was good release.
Just me, you. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what though? You made me feel good. Like you really enjoyed my company.
I did. You did. You are really good. And I tried to do Brad's space.
All right, Anna, it's that time again. It's time to wrap it up.
Sim, you are an uncle.
I'm an uncle. It's amazing. It really is such a cool feeling. And Amy and I are leaving for the hospital right now. I can't wait to meet my new nephew.
Great. Oh my gosh. Well, Amy, I love you. You are going to be an amazing auntie.
Amy's also an aunt because her sister just had a kid 3 days ago, had a baby 3 days ago, named, do you want to tell Anna the name of your sister, your new niece?
Oh my God, Anna, they named her Kayla.
Oh boy, we may have to change things up on the show.
I know, and everyone was like, my mom was like oohing and awing about, oh, what a beautiful name. And I'm like standing there in the my sister's like on the hospital bed with this brand new baby. And it's like this magical, amazing moment. And all I'm thinking about is your Kayla.
Oh God.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
No. But you know what? Not all Kaylas are the same.
That's true. Not all Kaylas are the same. But before we wrap it up, Anna, we didn't include some of our most recent episodes because they're probably still fresh. But dear listeners, if you haven't, please check out episodes like our live Seth Rogen episode and the one with Chris Hardwick and Isla Fisher and Milo Ventimiglia and a recent one with Jeremy Renner. I just love them all. But we are going to end with our good friend Josh Ostrander, aka Mondo Cosmo. He's had a breakout year, and he played us out of our Seth Rogen Entertainment Weekly Pop Fest episode. And he is actually backed by the world famous USC Trojan Marching Band. Just an amazing moment for all of us. And before we go, Anna, talk about the live experience. Talk about Josh and Mondo Cosmo, and before we play his song, just tell me how you felt about performing live. This is our second time doing it. We did one with Whitney Cummings, which is also another fun episode. So please check that out as well. But talk about the one with Entertainment Weekly and Seth Rogen.
Well, I think, part of this whole, I'm so glad you're doing this, Sim, because it's made me reflect a little bit on what the podcast has given to me, and sort of what our initial goals with the podcast were. And my initial goal was to sort of have like a fun hobby and getting, I wanted to talk to strangers, but it's become something that I feel incredibly passionate about, that I feel really close to our listeners. I feel really close to our callers. I really, while I wanted to have something like funny and entertaining, like we talked about earlier, I really also, more importantly, I want to have a place where people feel heard and we can attempt to give them what we think is maybe good advice. Maybe it's not, but hopefully we always qualify that as being unqualified. But so I've had many moments over the last year of feeling like thrilled and about sort of what what we're doing and the people that we get to talk to and the listeners and callers that we get experiences with, and how much it means to me that people are willing to share their problems. But for sure, one of the out-of-body experiences was the USC marching band coming into our opening song and having Josh, of Mondo Cosmo, who is Mondo Cosmo, have our back at every turn of the way from the very beginning has meant the world. And I'm so proud of his success, and I'm really excited about what 2017 brings. But I also, Sim, can't thank you enough. I can't thank Amy enough. I can't thank Josh enough, and Emma and Cassie and Mike and everybody else, who's been listening and supporting us. And so here's to a great 2017. And I can't wait to hear from more. And we've got some great stuff planned. Okay, so wait, here's the USC marching band. Sorry,
playing us out, Mondo Cosmo, backed by the USC marching band, playing a song called Plastic Soul. Good night, dear listeners.
Yeah. Good night.
Didn't I see you fighting in the war back in 1942? Every time I shapeshift in the form, I'm standing there right next to you. I keep searching all these dying stars just to get a glimpse of you. And all I have to do to drift away is close my eyes and think of you. Whenever I think of her, whenever I think of her, whenever I think of her, whenever I think of her. Didn't you see you tearing down the wall back in 1989? Didn't you feel my hand against your heart when I told you you were always mine? The best days of all my lives were spent dreaming of. The best days of all my lives were spent dreaming of. The best days of all my lives were spent dreaming on the afterlife. Whenever I think of her, 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 yeah, whenever I think of her. Thanks a lot, everybody.